Chapter 633, Apprehend. Chapter 633, Apprehend. At the lake bottom, Shi Yang closed his eyes, his breathing steady. Starlight radiated from his chest. The star original essence looked like a big glorious diamond, shooting out starlight that stormed towards Shi Yang and disappeared into his chest in just a blink of an eye. All of a sudden, it seemed Shi Yang's soul had absorbed by some energy. He had no energy fluctuation now. It seemed even his soul had paused. If Yi Changfeng didn't see Shi Yang still breathing, he would have shaken him already. Yang Tian Emperor, Di Shan, and Li Zhengrong had gone up to the lake surface. Yi Changfeng sometimes faced up to check the situation above his head, to see if anything was strange or not. The lake was still quiet. There was neither a sign of a battle nor strong living fluctuation. Only the starlight still plunged down from the sky like fireflies. They pierced through the lake surface, falling into Shi Yang's chest. Yi Changfeng stayed at the bottom of the lake, so he could feel some magical sound emitted from Shi Yang. Gradually, he felt as if his soul and spirit resonated with Shi Yang. Star dots in his eyes became the thought from Shi Yang's soul consciousness, giving him a feeling of having a life. Yi Changfeng was petrified, his face shocked. He was sure that even Shi Yang didn't know what was happening to him. He didn't know that he had attracted so many star dots in the sky. They gathered around him and changed the star martial spirit in his chest. Yi Changfeng could observe clearly. When the lively star dots gathered in front of Shi Yang's chest, they started to move on a magical trajectory, following some rules. Awesome! Yi Changfeng exclaimed in his heart. He shook his head continually as he knew that after this event, Shi Yang could surely break through the second time. By the time Yi Changfeng had met Shi Yang's realm was relatively low at the Nirvana realm. After just 10 years, Shi Yang had leaped up from the Nirvana realm to the second sky of Spirit realm. And, in a short time, he would have the chance to break through the third sky of Spirit realm. Thinking about this fast progress, Yi Changfeng couldn't hold his sigh. He had to accept this fate, giving the title genius to Shi Yang. All of a sudden, Yi Changfeng's pupils shrank. His face changed. He could vaguely feel the new energy fluctuation above the lake. It seemed some new hotshots had arrived. He knew that the short piece of this lake was about to be broken. Above the lake surface, Yang Tian Emperor, Di Shan, and Li Zhengrong were knitting their brows silently, their face grim. Especially Li Zhengrong, he was surprised for a moment he felt his heart sinking. He let out a low shout. Qiu Hong. Qiu Hong was the white-headed hotshot of the Heaven Temple with the peak of Spirit Realm cultivation base. His face was always stiff, with a pair of unmoving eyes. He gave people the feeling of the dead. Qiu Hong took more than 10 warriors of the Heaven Temple, following the starlight to arrive at this place from the secret domain in the center of the forest. After he could steady his body, he rose one hand to signal the other warriors to stop. The group of Heaven Temple's warriors halted, waiting for his order with their mouths shut. He glared at Li Zhengrong, then stooped to search around. His nose gently fanned as if he were searching for something. Di Shan slightly changed his visage. He looked at Yang Tian Emperor as if he had suddenly remembered something. Yang Tian Emperor stood indifferently. He slightly shook his head to signal the other to not hasten. This place still had the traces of Chu by Qing killing beasts. Although Yang Tian Emperor was careful enough to clean it up, if the other was a mindful person, he could see some streaks. Apparently, Qiu Hong was that sort of person. He seemed to have some magical power. After he took a tour around the place, he didn't say anything while pressing his slender and delicate white hand, more beautiful than the female hand, on the ground. Light ash-gray smoke diffused from his fingers, swaying into the earth like worms. They quickly moved underground. Qiu Hong closed his eyes, as a strange energy wave rippled from him. His body was swaying in the wind, as if he had no bones in his body. This looked extremely eccentric. Afterward, the light smoke he had released came back to him, entering his body through his fingers. Qiu Hong stood upright. He didn't sway with the wind anymore. His eyes opened on his stiff face as he said, Chu Bai Qing had come here, and so had Ning Du Quan. If anything happened to them, it's because of you guys. He pointed at Yang Tian Emperor, Di Shan, and Li Zhengrong. However, It's impossible to kill them with your cultivation base and realm. Chiu Hong mused for a while and then said, I can sense the aura of the monster clan. It's certain that the hotshots of the monster clan had helped you. This place belongs to Bloodmained, so he must have joined this battle. He just assumed from the evidence he got and arranged the whole things again. They matched, as though he had seen what happened with his own eyes. His voice was confirmative. Although his tone and words were slow-witted, he had the absolute confidence. Apparently, he agreed with his own assumption. None of the warriors accompanying him doubted his opinion. They trusted him almost immediately. They all knew Chiu Hong's ability, so they knew his assumption wouldn't be wrong. Yang Tian Emperor kept a cold face while observing carefully. Then, he begrudgingly accepted the fact that, whether he admitted it or not, he couldn't change the direction of this event's development. Be careful. Li Zhengrong sighed, talking in a low tone. Chiu Hong's a dangerous person. Although he has only the spirit realm cultivation base, he could fight a tied battle with the true God realm warriors. Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan were grim. Tell me the reasons. Chiu Hong didn't hasten to attack them. He kept talking with a dull voice. Why did you guys join hands with the monster clan? Why did you kill our Heaven Temple's warriors? He paused for a while and then continued. The reasons why you guys are still alive was because you hadn't attacked the 7 ancient factions' warriors. But now, you're walking the same path with the monster clan. This means you are standing on the opposite side to us. I think, without a reasonable explanation, I can only kill you all. Chiu Hong spoke as if it was the most natural thing. Yang Tian Emperor cracked a smile. Then it's simple. You die, or we die. Good then. Chiu Hong nodded and attacked them immediately. In a thick forest. The 2 high-grade existences of the monster clan, Fiery Dragon and Bloodmained, were quarreling. They slowly exposed themselves. Fiery Dragon, you are an asterisk shoal. You want to take benefit from this alone. Harumph, I know what you think. You are waiting until your energy reaches the acme and you will find me and take revenge, right? Bloodmained grunted. I'm telling you, you will never be my rival. I will always subdue you. Bloodmained, you shouldn't be so contented. After I've refined my body this time, I will break to another level. Then, I will kick your *s easily, said Fiery Dragon angrily. When the beasts communicated, they always made it simple and savage. They wouldn't be wordy or probing too much. They were always frank. It would be joining hands or being the enemy, or shouting at each other. Ah! Bloodmained suddenly shouted. He looked around and cursed. Someone's swaggering in my territory. Not good. They are above the lake. Fiery Dragon also cursed. They must be the damn humans. They came already. Growling, I hate them. Bloodmained was roaring like an erupting volcano. He wanted to go to the lake immediately. Right at this moment, a cold, gloomy voice arose. Misters, I want to discuss something with you. Bloodmained and Fiery Dragon halted, their face grim. Comoros and Cassidy, the 2 sages of the Ghostmark clan, emerged from the forest. Their spooky deep green eyes gazed at Bloodmained and Fiery Dragon, but their attitude wasn't clear. Ghostmark clan, Bloodmained snorted, his face impatient. You've been strolling around the perpetual night forest for so long. What do you want after all? No matter what you want to do it quick. Don't be sticky here. You're so annoying. Comoros darkened his face. We come to ask why Fiery Dragon wants to protect the humans. Fiery Dragon didn't put him in his mind. What does it matter to you? Should you be able to control who I should protect? This is the perpetual night forest, our monster clan's territory. It isn't your shady firmament old mound. Do you think you could chair everything here? Fiery Dragon, what is he babbling about? Bloodmained harumphed. He wants to kill Shi Yang. Fiery Dragon faced up, talking as if he were really irritated. That kid is my distinguished guest. How can I let these cunning folks kill him? I want to favor him more. Of course, Bloodmained knew what favor he mentioned. He almost didn't hesitate and nodded continually. You guys can't kill him. He's useful to us. I don't care if you want to kill anyone else. But if you want to touch him, Don't blame me for being impolite. I don't understand why the strong beasts like you guys need a human kid. Cassidy couldn't understand their points. I can't explain it to you guys. Apparently, Fiery Dragon didn't want to answer. Can you not protect him? Comoros pondered and then shouted, his face malicious. Stop being arrogant in front of us. This place is the perpetual night forest. The Ghostmark clan can't swagger here. Bloodmane's aura bloomed out. He couldn't hold it but attack the others. Kill. Comoros was also stimulated. The Yin-written charm scripture needed strong souls. If they could get the souls of Bloodmane and Fiery Dragon, their big business would be done. He thought he could bet on it this time. Jimu and Yu Ying were running as fast as if they were flying. They almost got there. Seeing the star dots falling like a heavy rain toward a lake, Jimu and Yu Ying were excited. They kept complimenting. Boom boom boom. Fierce noise of energy impact arose from that area. The shocking waves shook the entire ground. A frightened streak appeared across Jimu's eyes. He shouted, "Furious battles are ahead of us. 2 places. There are true God Realm warriors." Yu Ying changed her face dramatically. She hesitated and then asked, "Do we need to notify our master?" "Of course." Jimu affirmed, "Shiyang wouldn't be safe in any area. I think these battles relate to him." Yu Ying agreed. She nodded continually as she started to send the news to Yun Hao. Chapter 634, Mind Perception. Chapter 634, Mind Perception. Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan were struggling hard with grimaced faces. Qiu Hong had stirred up their temperament. Qiu Hong had pushed them, making them have no strategy left to try. Qiu Hong had stopped their mysterious attacks right before they could cast them completely. None of their attacks could reach Qiu Hong. It seemed Qiu Hong could predict their moves. He could always avoid Yang Tian Emperor's and Di Shan's attack one step ahead. It seemed the void was filled with Qiu Hong eyes, giving him the ability to see every single situation. Swoosh! A drop of blood shot out from Yang Tian Emperor's middle finger, a drop of immortal blood. It turned into a flow of red light that nothing could compare with, carrying the thick smell of bloody waves, darting rapidly. Wind howled and twirled from the pair of Di Shan's pure black wings. Wind blades covered the whole sky like countless shiny knives, creating a light curtain of wind blades. It looked terrifying. However, under the waves of Yang Tian Emperor's and Di Shan's attack, Qiu Hong had always moved one step ahead of them. When he reappeared, he was in the blind corner that Yang Tian Emperor's and Di Shan's attack couldn't reach. Then, he walked to Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan with a golden leaf in his hand, his face still emotionless. His palm glowed with a glorious golden light. The golden light radiated, shining on that golden leaf, revealing the clear lines like the lines of human palms. It seemed to contain the life Upanishads. Gradually, immense fluctuations of life rippled from that golden leaf, turning into a gold-light sea, raging torrentially. It dissolved Yang Tian Emperor's and Di Shan's attacks, pushing them backward continually. The gold-light sea that the golden leaf created could confine people's souls and restrain their hearts. When the golden light shone on Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan, they immediately had a dispirited feeling, making them quit attacking and want to surrender. It was fortunate that these two had the will of steel and they were both brave and ruthless. They reacted by biting their tongue to wake up themselves from this state. Qiu Hong didn't say anything during their battle. His face was dull and emotionless. With a steady mood, he attacked the other two neither slowly nor fast. However, Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan had no means to stop him. The situation was obviously getting worse. Yang Tian Emperor was at the second sky of Spirit Realm. With his martial spirit, the profound experience in fighting, and the god blood in his body, when he fought with the experts at the peak of Spirit Realm, he wouldn't fall into the disadvantaged situation. Di Shan was the patriarch of the Black-Winged clan with exquisite powers and a special rigid body of the Demon clan. Fighting with a human at the same realm, he should be more certain. However, Qiu Hong's prophetic ability had broken their perception, revealing their weak points. They had to struggle hard to resist. Li Zhengrong was engaging in the battle with the 10 warriors that Qiu Hong had brought. 4 of them were at the spirit realm, and the others were at the third sky of Sky Realm. This force was dealing with Li Zhangrong alone. Li Zhangrong's situation wasn't positive, either. However, those warriors didn't want to kill Li Zhangrong, apparently. They were controlling their attacks as they just wanted to capture him alive, perhaps. Li Zhangrong had too many secret treasures. While his hands were moving, his strange secret treasures soared to the sky, releasing magical waves that neutralized the warrior's attack. As the most brilliant alchemist of the Dead Soul Mountain range, his position was noble. Alchemists around the world respected and admired him a lot. Using secret treasures to exchange for medicines wasn't a strange business. During these recent years, the treasures he got in the Dead Soul Mountain range weren't bad. The worst of them were the spirit grade ones. He also had 7 or 8 sacred grade treasures. He only needed to use the secret treasures and weapons to smash the warriors at his realm. Li Zhangrong was holding a massive banner, which was embroidered with lively monsters and devils. When he waved it, these figures started to bare their claws and fangs, as if they had been revived, spurting thick green smoke. This smoke carried a poison that dizzied people. Everybody had to halt their attacks and deal with this poison. Seized the opportunity, Li Zhangrong ran away, flying to Yangtian Emperor and Di Shan and shouting, "Be careful. Qiu Hong has the mind perception martial spirit. He can read your thoughts and predict your moves." Yangtian Emperor and Di Shan changed their countenances in fright. Finally, they knew why they were opposed. The mind perception martial spirit could read changes in the mind of the opponent, which helped him find the way to break or avoid it one step ahead. Although there weren't so many martial spirits in the Divine Greatland, they could buy some martial spirits. However, the magical and unpredictable martial spirits were rare and precious. No ancient factions would sell the martial spirit's original seal. It would be inherited through the family's bloodline. The mind martial spirit was the most magical one. Every warrior had to long for it. In the Divine Greatland, mind and soul martial techniques were the precious resources of the 7 ancient factions. Even the hotshots of that faction sometimes didn't have a chance to practice them. Qiu Hong's mind perception martial spirit was inborn. During fighting, he could use this martial spirit to read the next move of the opponent precisely. Warriors at the same realm could never be his rivals. Even the high realm warriors had to receive a big headache fighting with him. No matter how strong their attacks were, they were useless. Yangtian Emperor's and Di Shan's cultivation base wasn't much different from Qiu Hong's. In their battle, he could use the mind perception ability to avoid all of their attacks. He just needed to focus on them. Right at the beginning, he was undefeatable. "Oh, that's it." Yangtian Emperor was surprised. He reacted immediately, laughed, then sat down motionlessly. Flows of thick blood aura diffused from Yangtian Emperor, creating a curtain of dense blood smog, covering him. Layers of blood air currents moved, rippling around him. The energy of heaven and earth sizzled together. "I got it." Di Shan was amazed. He followed the other to sit down. He didn't attack, just using his best to defend. As long as they attacked, their mind would reflect their moves and Qiu Hong could read them immediately, and he always dodged the attacks on time. This way, he could wear their energies and defeat them ultimately. However, when the two didn't take action but just defended, waiting for his attack, this was another situation. Although Qiu Hong knew their defending energy fluctuations, what could he do? He had to break their defense to reach Di Shan and Yangtian Emperor. He had to consume his energy to do that. Yangtian Emperor and Di Shan used this strategy to carry out the battle of attrition with Qiu Hong, using the unchanged to deal with the ever-changing. Once Qiu Hong ran out of power, they would attack him again. This was a good tactic to deal with warriors who cultivated mind techniques like Qiu Hong. "Marvelous," Li Zhangrong complimented. "Yang Ji is really extraordinary. You can think of the countermeasure that quickly." Yangtian Emperor cracked a smile, teasing Qiu Hong, "Come over here." Qiu Hong stopped all of a sudden. He frowned, then swept his eyes through Li Zhangrong, talking indifferently. "Mr. Li, I didn't want to hurt you. You are an alchemist, your life benefits us. But if you want to stand on the opposite side to the 7 ancient factions, you shouldn't blame me." Then, Qiu Hong shifted his target to Li Zhangrong. He ignored Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan. Li Zhangrong changed his visage. Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan frowned, exchanging looks, their complexions worried. Although Li Zhangrong had the third sky of Spirit Realm, he had paid too much attention to refining medicines. His fighting experience wasn't enough. When Qiu Hong aimed at him, he could know the attacking trajectory of Li Zhangrong's secret treasures. Even if Li Zhangrong put forth everything to defense, he wasn't Qiu Hong's opponent. Li Zhangrong was in danger. Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan were hesitant. They were about to break their defending state to assist him. Right at this moment, two lights zoomed over from a far distance. Two figures were flying toward them. They were Yu Ying and Ji Mu. Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan shivered. They were astounded, their face petrified. When Ji Mu arrived, he looked here and there, his face surprised. Where's he? Where's that kid? In the lake, Yu Ying pointed at the lake. Don't you see that all of the starlight is flying into the lake? He should be in the bottom of the lake. Ji Mu nodded, yeah, should be in the lake. Haha. Seems we arrived at the wrong time. The fight here is bustling. Everybody paused, looking at Ji Mu and Yu Ying with a stunned face, as they didn't know the two's attitude. Why do you come here? Yang Tian Emperor hesitated for a while and then frowned. Recently, when the 7 ancient factions wanted to kill them, only the Radiant God cult stood up to protect them. As these two were from the Radiant God cult, Yang Tian Emperor was confused, so he had to ask them, then planned the next countermeasure. We're finding Shi Yang. Yu Ying beamed a faint smile. We don't care about the other things. You guys just need to tell me where Shi Yang is. I don't need you to tell us, anyway. He should be in the lake bottom. Row. Two crazy roars arose not far from them. Afterward, two intimidating auras were moving fast towards them. Yu Ying and Ji Mu exchanged looks. Their faces darkened as they knew the situation wasn't going well. Not long after that, Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane appeared. Their giant bodies crushed the ancient big trees as if they were just little dried branches. They were roaring and fighting against someone while moving towards this area. Seemed they were besieged in a bad situation. Yang Tian Emperor, Di Shan, and Li Zhangrong were struck. They had planned to use Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane to solve the situation here. But when they saw the situation of the two monsters, they had to change their faces in fear. Their heart sank as they knew the situation was too bad. All of them saw the true God Realm experts of the Ghostmark clan and the Dark Spirit clan. This made them grimmer. Chapter 635, Yang Tian Emperor Gets Crazy. Chapter 635, Yang Tian Emperor Gets Crazy. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane were restlessly agitated. Comoros and Cassidy of the Ghostmark clan were oppressing them furiously. Especially the true God Realm expert of the Dark Spirit clan, his attack was so malicious. Comoros and Cassidy had the true God Realm cultivation base. Cassidy was at the second sky of True God Realm while Comoros was at the third sky of True God Realm. However, they couldn't use their full power at this moment. They seemed to be equal to Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane. Evision of the Dark Spirit clan had the second sky of True God Realm cultivation base. The warrior of the Dark Spirit clan had a body as firm as pure steel. Perhaps his body was even more tenacious than Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane. Comoros, Cassidy, and Evision had joined hands, together with many hotshots of the Ghostmark clan. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane couldn't endure such force. They were fighting and retreating at the same time. They wanted to find Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan to help them. Too bad, Yang Tian Emperor's side had been already struggling. Qin Hong was enough to hold them down. Seeing Comoros leading a group of the Ghostmark clan's hotshots, pushing Bloodmane to this area, Yang Tian Emperor and Di Shan were hesitant, their faces grimaced. Fiery Dragon shouted, rolling his eyes at Qin Hong and the Heaven Temples group, speaking indignantly. So annoying. Why do I have to meet these human brats everywhere? Bloodmane, Fiery Dragon, if you ignore Shi Yang, we will leave immediately. Comoros hovered in the air, his face cold. Vision of the Dark Spirit Clan didn't say anything. His deep green eyes flared a bloodthirsty, malicious light as if he hated that he couldn't kill everybody here. He was looking at the group of human experts including Qin Hong, Yang Tian Emperor, and Ji Mu. While the Dark Spirit Clan had been confined in the Dead Soul Mountain Range, many wandering dead souls had been hunted by human warriors in the Dead Soul Mountain Range, turning into refining materials for their weapons or medicines. Turning back to the resentment they had cast 10,000 years ago, human clan had sealed them in the foreign land, making the members of the Dark Spirit Clan live with their bodies and souls separated, which had decreased their power drastically. Vision had a deep grudge against humans, much more than what he had against Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned. This situation doesn't seem right. Ji Mu shifted his look from Fiery Dragon, Bloodmaned, to the hotshots of the Dark Spirit Clan and the Ghostmark Clan. He said with great confusion, "Seems like all this relates to that kid Shiyang." Yu Ying couldn't hold her forced smile, talking in a low tone. "That boy is truly a disaster." Ji Mu and Yu Ying didn't join their conversation. They just stood there with a complicated complexion. They wanted to retreat quietly as they saw something wrong here. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned were the level 9 members of the Monster Clan. They were equal to the True God Realm warriors. Besides, there were 3 more pagans at the True God Realm. This force was something human clan could resist. If they stayed here, it was not different from suicide. Qin Hong was hesitant. His face suddenly changed into a little anxious. He spoke to the other warriors quietly. "Prepare to withdraw. Damn humans." A vision of the Dark Spirit Clan changed his countenance and shouted as he saw the human groups want to leave. "Kill them first." Comoros, Cassidy of the Ghostmark Clan heard a vision. They nodded, swinging their arms. "Kill humans first." The warriors of the Ghostmark Clan stormed out from behind Comoros and Cassidy, furiously attacked Qin Hong and the warriors of the Heaven Temple. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned didn't move. They didn't know Qin Hong, Yu Ying, and Ji Mu. Of course, they wouldn't care about their lives. They even wished that the Ghostmark Clan and the Dark Spirit Clan would kill them all. Ji Mu and Yu Ying paled. They halted while dashing under the shades of the ancient trees. They suddenly felt a malicious soul thought snatching down like a soul seal, dizzying their consciousness. Comoros looked cold and evil. A strange light shone radiantly on his eyes as he was using the mysterious soul technique of the Ghostmark Clan, covering all people around him. Although Qin Hong could sense it beforehand as his mind perception could recognize the soul seal, he didn't have the competence to avoid it since the soul-binding technique the other was using had blocked all directions. An invisible soul net snatched down from the sky, enveloping the entire area. The creatures under that massive net felt as if their soul had been stagnant in a bog. The more their souls struggling, the deeper they sank into the darkness. Their consciousness started to scatter, as they were about to lose their minds. Yang Tian Emperor, Li Zhangrong, Qin Hong, Ji Mu, and Yu Ying weren't exceptions. These human warriors were covered in the soul-restraining power that Comoros had released. Their sea of consciousness became turbulent. Gradually, they were all stirred up. Quite the contrary, Di Shan wasn't affected. He stayed unharmed. Although he didn't understand soul power, with the sturdy body of the Winged Clan, he wouldn't be affected by strong soul energy. Regarding using soul, he was really dumb. Although he could recognize something weird, he didn't know where it came from. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned weren't affected either. Their situation was similar to Di Shan of the Black-Winged Clan. They all had a tenacious body. They were the creatures that didn't depend on the soul to level up. To human clan, it was the deadly soul fluctuation. But to them, its effects weren't really fierce, so they didn't need to be tense. The sun, moon, and stars were shining in the sky. The bustling forest where furious battles had taken place suddenly quieted. There was no sound or noise. Only Yang Tian Emperor, Li Zhangrong, and the others were holding their heads, painfully resisting something. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned stood next to each other. They were discussing in a low tone, considering whether to help Yang Tian Emperor and Li Zhangrong or not. Di Shan stood not far from Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned. His eyes were filled with wicked thoughts. He was urging his power impatiently. He understood that if Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaimed didn't help them, Yangtian Emperor and Li Zhengrong would have the same ending as Qin Hong and his warriors. The soul energy Comoros had released would kill them little by little. Di Shan knew his competence. He would never be able to disturb the experts of the Ghost Mark clan and the Dark Spirit clan. He could only depend on Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaimed, but he didn't dare to provoke their beast instinct, as he was afraid that it would break everything. If he dies, Shi Yang won't let us at ease. His Shi Yang's great-grandfather. Di Shan waited for a while, then pointed at Yangtian Emperor. If Shi Yang's agitated, none of you will live in peace. Hearing Di Shan, Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaimed couldn't help but change their visage. They became restless quietly. Ruah. However, at this moment, Yangtian Emperor suddenly roared with a wild countenance. Blood splashed from his entire body. Instantly, he became bloody crazy. The soul restraint from Comoros lost its effect on Yangtian Emperor. The bloody Yangtian Emperor stormed forward like the moth heading towards the flame. He dashed towards Comoros and shouted, "I want you to die." Drops of ruby immortal blood flowed through his veins, blending with the god blood in his body. At this moment, Yangtian Emperor's power was beyond the power of a spirit realm warrior. His flow of energy was wild and brutal, carrying an endless murderous aura. His flesh and blood started to melt when he got enraged, which looked terrifying. Everybody gazed at him in fright. Their faces changed dramatically. They didn't expect that this second sky of spirit realm human warrior could be so formidable and insane at the same time. They all were petrified. Even a vision of the Dark Spirit clan was startled, his face disbelieving. This was the first time he put on the solemn countenance. When they were in the endless sea, Yangtian Emperor was the peerless warrior. That year, when he was still at the first sky of Spirit Realm, he had resisted the 3/3 sky of Spirit Realm hotshots of the Demon Clan. The power he had shown them at that time had terrorized people. Today, he had reached the second sky of Spirit Realm. At the most critical time, he had burned the immortal blood as the price for his tremendous bursting power. A precious armor made of blood emerged from his bloody bones, covering his bones. It was vivid red and evilly strange. This armor seemed to drink from his flesh and blood, making his aura more imposing. A magical blood wheel appeared in Yangtian Emperor's hand. The blood wheel looked like a sun dyed in blood. It was burning, releasing a garnet light accompanied by the thick scent of blood, darting towards Comoros. While the magical wheel was moving, blood waves rippled layers by layers. Hundreds of waves piled up, creating a viscous blood object. It nauseated the true God Realm warriors like Comoros. The blood in their bodies couldn't help but surge turbulently. Yangtian Emperor's aura burst instantly as a bloodlight shot toward Comoros. Comoros was frightened, as he was scared by the erupting power of Yangtian Emperor. He shouted, "Cassidy!" Cassidy's face showed that he was struck. The scattered tattoos on his body suddenly revived. The tattoos flew out of his body, turning into so many dark green written techniques, gathering in the void. A strange, evil fluctuation emitted from them. All ancient trees near Cassidy seemed to be led by that strange energy. Rigid branches became as flexible as cotton. They extended massively towards Yangtian Emperor like countless tentacles. Wood power. This was the innate ability of the ghost tattoos on Cassidy's body. It could manipulate any kind of flora to help him. The trees would become the extension of his limbs. These giant trees seemed to have a new life. They wiggled and extended their branches to cover the entire sky. Yangtian Emperor was coiled, and his speed reduced. F***ck it. Move. Fiery Dragon roared. He twisted his giant body, sweeping his dragon tail forward, cutting the branches piece by piece. As Bloodmaimed saw the dragon taking action, his brutal nature was stirred up. He let out a long roar and then started to attack Cassidy. The gold fur in front of his chest was like a shower, shooting and covering both Cassidy and Comoros. The soul power Comoros had released lost its effects instantly. Human warriors including Li Zhengrong, Qin Hong, Ji Mu, and Yu Ying restored their clear mind. They immediately got the situation. Right at this moment, the tranquil lake started to ripple. A halo of starlight shot out from the bottom of the lake. Di Shan's eyes brightened. He was cheered up. The boy's good now. Fiery Dragon laughed wildly. He steadied his mind and attacked Comoros while roaring furiously. The perpetual night forest belongs to the demon clan. Who dares to mess here? I'll make him live in misery. Chapter 636, Fierce Man. Chapter 636, Fierce Man. Yangtian Emperor's blood and flesh were burning hot like flames. He was sinking in insanity. What he was burning was his immortal blood and the god blood he had absorbed. The immortal blood and the god blood were stimulated thoroughly. The erupting energy had broken Comoros' soul restraint. It also burned Cassidy's wood power, that was entangling him, into ashes. Just like the moth flying into the flame, he stormed towards Cassidy, using the blood sea to cover him. In the blood sea Yangtian Emperor had released, even the true God Realm warrior Cassidy had to struggle hard. The energy from Yangtian Emperor's body had disordered Cassidy's blood, making it turbulent. His consciousness became hazy. When Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane saw the big change in their current situation, they didn't hesitate anymore, barging in and entangling Comoros and Evision. Above the lake's surface, light shadows entangled. Different energies impacted. Two giant figures towered the entire area like giant cloud clusters. Countless trees were exploded and smashed due to the shockwaves and energy impact. Qin Hong and the Heaven Temples group felt tiny in such an earth-shaking battle. They felt anxious. Qin Hong didn't dare to act rashly. He wasn't sure if leaving at this moment would enrage the beasts or not. They hid in the broken pieces of wood, still panic-stricken. Ji Mu and Yu Ying exchanged looks. They gawked, unable to believe their own eyes as they were looking at Yangtian Emperor in his insanity. They were scared. That man, is he really at the spirit realm? Ji Mu sighed in fear, shaking his head continually. I can't imagine any spirit realm warrior could burst out such formidable power like him. Yu Ying bit her lips, couldn't hold her miserable smile. Perhaps, people around Shiyang are all mysterious and imposing like him. Sometimes, I think whether it's true or not that our divine great land has been peaceful for so long, and that's why we don't have any peerless warrior. The brutal craziness Yangtian Emperor was exposing was beyond their common knowledge. It was so formidable. Cassidy was a true God Realm warrior of the Ghostmark clan. He had received the ancient inheritance with the innate mysterious tattoos of the Ghostmark clan. Although he hadn't recovered completely, it was enough to have a battle with the peak human warriors of the divine great land. However, Cassidy was struggling to fight with Yangtian Emperor. Apparently, he had fallen into the disadvantaged situation. The development of this battle had gone beyond their imagination. As Ji Mu and Yu Ying found that no one noticed them, they didn't hasten to leave, but hid in a corner and observed the situation. They wanted to know the next events. Yangtian Emperor seemed to get crazy. A blood armor covered his exquisite bones. The blood wheel in his hand was rippling blood waves, carrying out the energy of desperation. Di Shan faced up to watch the sky. His black wings fluttered gently as a helpless, desperate feeling swarmed his soul. Yangtian Emperor had also affected him. At this moment, Di Shan got to know that Yangtian Emperor had concealed his real competence from the beginning. He hadn't performed his best yet. The blood wheel and the energy Yangtian Emperor released around his body carried a deep despair intent domain. It looked like he could only urge his real power instantly at the moment he had fallen into a desperate situation. At that time, he could achieve a state no one had ever imagined. He had used desperation to awake his rampage power, causing the subdued opponents an immense despair. He had used his steel will, which had been quenched by hundreds of battles, to destroy his opponents' minds. The way Yangtian Emperor comprehended his power was apparently an evil, crooked path. It was crazy and stubborn. Only the imposing character, whose face was calm and heart was wild like him, could walk on this extraordinary cultivating path. He could burn his own flesh and blood in desperation, igniting the god blood he had absorbed to burst out his best potential in the dead corner. Only an extremely cold-blooded person, who was cruel to even himself, could comprehend and develop it furiously. Yangtian Emperor was that sort of a fierce man. Using the second sky of Spirit Realm cultivation base, he had burned his blood and flesh to gather the power from the desperate situation to stimulate his potential and erupt the power hiding in his flesh and blood. He had used the hopeless thought of the certain death to forcefully drag his opponents into the nightmare of despair. He had used his incomparable will to die together with his opponents. Such a character, if he weren't crazy, he was a madman with great wisdom and willpower. Cassidy was distressed. Submerged in the intent domain created by Yang Tian Emperor, the terrifying sight in which the Ghostmark clan was destroyed emerged in his head. Each member of the Ghostmark clan burned like dying fireworks. They shot up to the sky and fell one by one. Their souls perished before their bodies reached the ground. As their grand sages, he and Comoros had no solution. Their souls were confined, and they could only see things accelerated to the point they were afraid of the most. They could only watch their patriarch being besieged and hurt severely by countless experts. They had witnessed their patriarch burn his soul to send them into the yin-written charm scripture before he sealed it and died. Painful and pathetic memories uncontrollably rose in his heart. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't wash them away. Cassidy's inner demon was born. A helpless despair appeared from a deep place in his heart. He felt all of his power had left him, while his soul was sinking into darkness. He was a true God Realm expert, but he couldn't get rid of the desperate power Yang Tian Emperor had released. He had been dragged into the abyss of a nightmarish memory. He didn't have the will to resist or the determination to risk his life to escape. That genocide battle was forever his inner demon. After so many years, he had pressed it down, trying to forget. He didn't dare to recall or think about it. He thought he had gotten over this painful challenge. Only when Yang Tian Emperor burned his god blood and his flesh to release the energy he had comprehended in despair, Cassidy recognized that he hadn't escaped that knot in his heart. He still bore the grudge of that humiliating past. He was a true God Realm warrior, but his mind was seized, and his power decreased drastically. In Yang Tian Emperor's furious wave of attack, the red blood sea, he was like a simple leaf that would sink in the blood sea at any minute. Everybody was subdued by the strange phenomenon in the sky. At his second sky of Spirit Realm, the power Yang Tian Emperor had demonstrated now wasn't less than the peak of true God Realm warriors in the divine Great Land. The bursting power in desperation was the most stubborn and extreme power in the world. It was like the sharp sword dyed in blood that could pierce through everything. P2E. Cassidy gushed out blood, dripping on his chest. His clear and bright eyes started to lose the focus, as they no longer had light. Yang Tian Emperor was now a bloody skeleton. None of his muscles was intact. He looked so terrible that everybody would feel the extreme fear at first glance looking at him. Some timid people would instantly have butterflies in their stomach and vomit directly. To which degree of brutality and craziness he had to burn his body to pursue the extreme power Upanishad under the pain of ripping the heart? The one who could reach this far, who didn't treat his flesh body as he should, if he couldn't increase his strength massively, even God would disagree. Cassidy spat blood. His aura was restrained. Blood trickled from the corners of his mouth like two small streams, continually flowing down his body. It was as if blood in his body was led by some mysterious force, and it wouldn't stop until all of his blood had run out of his body. Qin Hong watched the scene from a distance. Later on, he sighed and shook his head. Hero. He suddenly realized that although he had been pressing Yang Tian Emperor, he couldn't put the old man into a hopeless situation. He felt lucky now. Otherwise, what awaited him was the extreme sea blood. Qin Hong understood that if Yang Tian Emperor had done it on him, with his real competence, he would have died already. In Heaven Temple, he was addressed as the man who should never be underestimated. However, as he had witnessed Yang Tian Emperor's burst in a desperate situation, he knew he was too far behind this man. No wonder why our master has appreciated him that much. Ji Mu was bewildered for a while and then sighed. I rarely admire people. But today, I admire him. Turns out there is a fierce man like him in this world. Yu Ying kept silent, just nodding to show her agreement. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned were concentrating on dealing with Comoros and Evision. These two high-grade monster clans experts were savage. Their powers weren't less than the other two pagans. When everybody was gazing at young Tian Emperor, the rippling lake had calmed down. The brilliant starlight didn't shower from the sky anymore. The lake surface became the tranquil, bright mirror again. It reflected the fierce fight above the lake. There was no ripple on the lake surface. A scarlet halo appeared on the lake and started to expand. The extreme heat rose, and shortly, the lake surface cracked open into a small duct. While the battle above the lake was still excited and furious, a majestic body got out of the lake from that small duct. He slowly emerged in the light of the sun, moon, and stars. Then, he frowned and observed the sight. Di Shan was looking at young Tian Emperor with admiration. He suddenly sensed something, turning around. He was dumbstruck, kneeling down right away and greeting with great respect. "Master." Shi Yang nodded gently. Millions of star dots were covering him. They looked like a dense cloud of winged insects, hovering around him. At first glance, he looked like he was wearing a brilliant costume made of stars, which was gloriously beautiful. On his chest, intimidating soul fluctuations rippled. Countless star rivers crossed each other, twinkling as though they could dazzle people. It looked like he had numerous galaxies gathered in front of his chest and helping him collect and maintain the mysterious star abilities of the vast star sea. "Master, you've broken through again." Di Shan sensed for a while and then shouted in joy. Shi Yang beamed a faint smile to confirm his assumption. Suddenly, Shi Yang darkened his face, squinting and looking at young Tian Emperor, who was covered in blood. "What's going on?" Di Shan stooped and quickly briefed him about what had happened. Shi Yang listened to him with a stiff face. His eyes gradually became cold and evil. Later, he nodded, raking his eyes through Qin Hong's group and ordering Di Shan. "Kill." Di Shan happily regarded him and then stormed towards the Heaven Temple's group. Chapter 637, Tit for Tat. Chapter 637, Tit for Tat. Shi Yang lifted his head while his arms positioned in the posture of drawing a bowstring. Countless star dots massively rolled from his chest to between his arms. In just a moment, a Big Dipper bow was formed by the star dots. Fist-sized clusters of star dots arrayed the Big Dipper. A starlight arrow was slowly condensed, then gently narked on the bow. Swoosh! A shooting light crossed the sky and pierced through layers of obstacles, darting towards Qiu Hong. Qiu Hong's spirit trembled. His mind perception martial spirit couldn't catch Shi Yang's thought. It couldn't guess the trajectory of this starlight arrow. He could only feel an imposing danger flying towards him at an unimaginable speed. It was like a dark hand that he couldn't see, grabbing and squeezing his neck resentfully. Qiu Hong felt suffocated. His pores were all blocked, and his face was filled with fear. Light dots zoomed in his eyes. That light shot was like a meteorite falling from the immense galaxy, bringing with it the ancient power of the Vault of Heaven, shooting directly to his chest. Qiu Hong's visage changed dramatically. He didn't have time to think as he urged his mind perception martial spirit, pouring all his vehement thought into the golden leaf. The golden leaf bloomed a fierce, dazzling, golden halo. It transformed in the void, turning into many glorious golden leaves, piling up and creating a hefty shield in front of him. Clang! Clang! Light sparked everywhere, while the golden leaf wall was shaken. Sounds echoed like the jingling of bells. Qiu Hong's face suddenly reddened, as fear arose deep inside his grey eyes. At this moment, Di Shan arrived, and started to slaughter the other warriors of the Heaven Temple. "Old Li!" Shi Yang let out a low shout. Li Zhengrong reacted timely. He didn't say anything but stormed forward. Many different types' secret treasures flew out, bombarding the warriors. At the same time, Shi Yang summoned War Devil, pointing at Qiu Hong. War Devil turned into a shadow, disappearing into the bright sky. When it reappeared, it had already reached Qiu Hong. Qiu Hong discolored. His mind trembled. This was the first time he got scared. He didn't know why his mind perception martial spirit had lost its effect. He couldn't read War Devil at all. War Devil wasn't a creature, it didn't have the soul fluctuation. It was just a fighting puppet with the powers of its owner when he was still alive. The puppet's appearance was to deal with Qiu Hong. Qiu Hong was always dependent on his mind-perception martial spirit, but it didn't work with War Devil. At this moment, his weakness was exposed. His power wasn't excellent enough. War Devil pushed forward, and the golden halo in front of Qiu Hong was devoured bit by bit. All of a sudden, he fell into a dark abyss. The War Devil alone was enough to deal with him. Li Zhengrong and Di Shan had joined them from a far distance. Sometimes they barged in, totally subduing Qiu Hong. Not far from them, Shi Yang turned around to look at Yang Tian Emperor. His eyes became cold and evil as his anger blazed. He didn't know that the more Yang Tian Emperor was pushed, the more intimidating power he could erupt with. In Shi Yang's eyes, Yang Tian Emperor had consumed all of his flesh and blood, which indicated he had been strenuous to the acme. He was pushed until he went insane. Comoros and Cassidy arrived here to show him that they wanted to clear the Dark Devil clan. They also wanted to kill him, their master. To ensure the result, they had even invited the hotshot of the Dark Spirit clan. They wanted to capture them all at once. If Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned hadn't supported them, even if Yang Tian Emperor had burst out his energy of desperation, they wouldn't have been able to endure it. Perhaps, they all would have already died. Shi Yang's face was cold and dark. His lips curled into a freezing smile, as dazzling starlight suddenly shot out from his eyes. The Big Dipper bow created by the star power was drawn. Star dot started to congeal on an arrow before it shot out furiously. Star fall of the Big Dipper God Arrow. This arrow was connected tightly with the stars from 9 skies. Stars in the sky all twinkled, overwhelming even the bright moon. Star dots fell like a heavy rain over their heads. Starlight condensed in the sky, turning into the fist-sized stars. They all carried an imposing star energy, moving according to the trajectory Shi Yang had in his mind, as they rumblingly bombarded Heaven Temple's warriors. Warriors of the Heaven Temple that came here this time didn't have high realms. Their realms were lower than the spirit realm. No matter how hard they tried to dodge, they couldn't avoid the star bombardment of the starfall. Starlight glowed on them as their living fluctuation faded away, and their aura disappeared. Warriors who had the spirit realm had more falling stars aimed at them. All of a sudden, they found themselves confined in a star barrier. They couldn't move, and their consciousness became hazy. Right at this moment, Shi Yang aimed his arrow and shot it. The Big Dipper arrow shot out like the meteor chasing after the moon. Many meteors shot out from the Big Dipper bow at the same time, darting rapidly as if they could pierce through space, thrusting through the flesh bodies of those Heaven Temple's warriors. Puff puff. Blood splashed, as the Heaven Temple's warriors had their bodies tattered. Even Qiu Hong, who could see the martial technique beforehand, couldn't gather his luck to escape. 3 meteors shot at his legs, breaking his bones. War Devil seized the chance and covered the man with its dark halo. Then, it fiercely attacked him. Di Shan and Li Zhengrong took the opportunity when the Heaven Temple's warriors were disorderly panic-stricken, to harvest their lives one by one. A magical black ball emerged from Shi Yang's palm. Just like a wandering spirit, it moved around the dead warriors and collected their souls. While entangling in the battle with Fiery Dragon, Comoros saw the Heaven Temple's warriors die. He was shaken, as he wanted to throw the yin-written charm scripture there so as it could absorb the souls. However, right after that, he saw the soul-gathering pearl had taken all the souls. Comoros felt a chunk of blood stuck in his throat. He was so indignant that he wanted to shout and die. He wanted to trouble Shi Yang. The reasons he wanted to kill the Dark Devil clan, besides the humiliation, was because he wanted to collect souls through slaughtering. This would supply the energy to help their patriarch awaken. Seeing Shi Yang using the soul-gathering pearl to snatch the souls of the dead warriors before they vanished, he was enraged. Shi Yang, Ji Mu and Yu Ying suddenly cried, their faces frightened. Shi Yang glared at them with an indifferent countenance. What? Are you crazy? Yu Ying's eyes filled with worries. Do you know what you are doing? If you do that, even the cult master can't protect you. You've turned your back to the 7 ancient factions. Qin Jiyu Chuan of the Heaven Temple would never spare your life. He will stimulate the other ancient factions to kill you, your friends, and your family. Yu Ying came here this time to deliver Yunhao's message to Shi Yang, asking them to visit the secret domain, where they would have a thorough discussion to see if they could find a solution to bring the Yang family to the Ice and Fire secret domain. Yun Hao had such a risky plan because he appreciated Shi Yang and wanted to gather the force of the Yang family. He had tried his best to carry out this plan. As far as he was concerned, the alien tribes were raging here and there. If Shi Yang's team stayed outside, they would be all dead sooner or later. It would be better if they could go to the secret domain and join their force to fight against the hotshots of the pagan clans. Ji Mu and Yu Ying came here with goodwill. However, they found that Shi Yang wanted to kill the warriors of the Heaven Temple. Once this affair was revealed, Shi Yang would never have a chance to be with the 7 ancient factions. Yes, I'm about to get crazy. Shi Yang looked calm. I'm not going to bring my men to the Ice and Fire secret domain. I don't want to see us as the fish in the fish tank who will never have a chance to escape. About the other stuff. I even killed Chu Baiqing, let alone these guys. You killed him, indeed. Qiu Hong screeched. True, Shi Yang stood nonchalantly. Chu Baiqing's dead. Ning Duquan's dead. You will be dead, too. You've killed my people. It's just tit for tat. People who come here today will not leave this place alive. All of you. I want to see how many warriors Heaven Temple can send here for me to kill continually. He continued to gather and condense the star energy as he narked the arrows and shot them like a furious storm. He killed them one by one, except for Qiu Hong, to prove his words. Ji Mu and Yu Ying were petrified, they were totally struck dumb. Chu Baiqing's death made them realize that Shi Yang was really crazy. Just like Yang Tian Emperor, he wanted a big fight at any cost. So, do we need to linger here? Ji Mu beamed a forced smile, looking at Yu Ying as he didn't know what to say in this situation. You guys shouldn't think about leaving this place, either. Shi Yang's face became cold. Yu Ying discolored. She got enraged immediately. Shi Yang, you won't spare me, will you? I don't want to disclose things happened today. No one can leave. Shi Yang was indifferent. Before I get to know of the plans of the 7 ancient factions, you have to stay where I can see you. If you guys want to go without my permission, don't blame me for being impolite. Ji Mu and Yu Ying were indignant, their faces grimaced. I have to be careful. Shi Yang was still calm. Ji Mu and Yu Ying couldn't shake him. I hope you will understand my worries. Going the same way with me, at this moment, isn't a bad thing to you guys. Di Shan, Old Li, watch them. Shi Yang let out a low shout. Then, he contacted the war devil using his soul to ask it to be more watchful. After that, his eyes turned garnet. Negative energy burst out from his body, as pallid tentacles jutted out from his paws. He looked eccentric and evil. The Sky Destroyer divine sword appeared in his palms, and the eyes on the sword opened. An evil, destructive energy fluctuation rippled, raking through every corner from him as its core. Qiu Hong's soul shivered. His mind-perception martial spirit sent him an intimidating fear. He felt hopeless. Lock. Shi Yang's garnet eyes gazed at him, and then he roared suddenly. It was as if thunder reverberated in Qiu Hong's head. Blood dripped down from 7 holes in his face while he was shaking uncontrollably. Di Shan, War Devil, and Li Zhengrong seized the chance to attack him. Immediately, Qiu Hong's blood and flesh exploded. His soul was like a balloon that was blown too much and burst directly. Shi Yang pointed at Ji Mu and Yu Ying. Wait until the situation gets better, I won't maltreat you. If you still want to leave, don't blame me for being merciless. Then, he held the Sky Destroyer divine sword, with the 3 snow-white bone thorns in his sleeves, and walked to Comoros while the pale tentacles were wiggling around his body. The soul-gathering pearl floated behind him. It was dragging Qiu Hong's soul into the bead. Essence chi of Qiu Hong's group turned into invisible energy that naked eyes couldn't observe. They were flying from everywhere and connecting with the tentacles jutted out from his body, making his appearance more evil and frightening. Chapter 638, Negative Field. Chapter 638, Negative Field. None of the Heaven Temple's warriors, including Qiu Hong, escaped death. Under Shi Yang, Di Shan, and Li Zhengrong's slaughter, They were all dead bodies now. Ji-mu and Yu Ying were indignant. They wanted to fight with Shi Yang, but when they witnessed Qiu Hong getting killed easily, they felt a chill in their hearts. The energy they had accumulated discreetly slipped away. It wasn't that they were scared, but they didn't want to see both sides bear losses. And they didn't want to cause grudge against Shi Yang. In their eyes, Shi Yang was crazy at this moment. He didn't have his cognition with him now. Facing with him under such circumstances wasn't a wise move. They wanted to wait until Shi Yang restored his calmness to discuss again. Ji-mu and Yu Ying didn't move, waiting at their spots in silence. Their eyes were bright, looking at Shi Yang without blinking. They didn't care about the gazes that came from Di Shan, Li Zhengrong, and War Devil. Shi Yang had told them his ideas. As long as they didn't hasten and act rashly, they didn't need to worry about being oppressed. Di Shan and Li Zhengrong trusted Shi Yang completely, and they would always follow his words. Ji-mu and Yu Ying observed Shi Yang's demonic appearance, as fear and surprise arose from deep inside their eyes. The pale finger-sized tentacles covered his entire body, condensed from the negative energy, between 1 to 3 meters long. Looking at him from a far distance, Shi Yang didn't look like a human anymore. He now appeared as a beast or demon that frightened people. Yu Ying and Ji-mu could see that those tentacles weren't real. They were just condensed energy. However, each tentacle was releasing terrifying soul fluctuations. Even on standing a couple 100 meters from him, Yu Ying and Ji-mu seemed to be affected. The desires in their hearts were stirred up, generating negative moods. They were petrified, although they knew Shi Yang didn't aim at them, as he didn't treat them his enemy. The ones Shi Yang considered his enemies were Comoros, Cassidy, and Evision. His surging soul fluctuation from the tentacles only aimed for those three. A magical soul field was created by the pallid tentacles, turning them into soul ribbons, tying Comoros, Cassidy, and Evision. A negative, chaotic aura surged from Shi Yang like a rising tide. The negative moods rumblingly covered the three of them, as if they were submerged in the deep ocean. However, this mood just stayed for 3 seconds. Afterward, from deep inside their eyes, the feeble light of desires flashed. A kind of energy that could distort the sea of consciousness filled the space around Shi Yang. The tentacles emerged from his acupuncture points constantly released the negative moods, creating a magical negative field, which affected all kinds of creatures around him. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned were also affected. The desires hiding in their inner world rose. Their minds were occupied as they had entered the bloodthirsty state, the basic instinct of the monster clan. Yang Tian Emperor was also affected. He had already fallen into insanity. Under the effect of the negative field, his aura rocketed. Desperation filled his eyes, but his power increased one more time. Waves of blood sea rose and splashed one after another, striking on Cassidy. Cassidy felt his chest heavy and pressed, as blood trickled from the corners of his mouth uncontrollably. The blood wheel on Yang Tian Emperor's hand shimmered with a bizarre red halo, covering half the sky. It even dyed the horizon blood red, and Cassidy sank in it gradually. Holding the Sky Destroyer divine sword in his hand, Shi Yang, at the third sky of Spirit Realm, could feel the magical effect of the negative energy deeply. He was still calm in the negative field. He gathered and poured the negative energy more into the sword, as more blood-red eyes opened one by one on the sword. The garnet pupils were like tongues of beasts, releasing an evil bloodlight that illuminated the whole area. A destructive intent domain emerged from the sword blade, expanding everywhere. Big trees shriveled, luxuriant green foliage yellowed and died, and insects stopped singing from deep underground. It seemed their life was reaped instantly. Shi Yang closed his eyes, adding the intent domain he had comprehended into the Sky Destroyer divine sword. The death intent domain became a place to slaughter, gradually pushing forward. At the same time, another vital soul thought of his shot towards Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned. His soul thought gave back the vitality to Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned, which saved them from the effects of the death intent domain. Also, it helped Yang Tian Emperor promote his strength better. Shi Yang's death intent domain overflowed into the Sky Destroyer. A tranquil, sluggish thought started to transgress the area, while the foliage on its way had its life sucked away. Jimu and Yu Ying kept observing silently. They looked at the 1,000-year-old trees wither rapidly, as if they had been dead years ago. The luxuriant grass turned yellow, dried, and finally turned into dark fertilizer for the soil. The singing of insects disappeared instantly. These signs outlined the space in front of Shiyang, which was wrecked by the formidable, endless, destructive intent domain. Jimu and Yu Ying couldn't stand the sight. Their eyes changed in fright. Eventually, they realized that if Shiyang wanted to kill them, it wouldn't be a difficult task. Different from the brutal and crazy Yang Tian Emperor, Shiyang's attack didn't multiply or thunder. It was strangely quiet. But this quietness gave people a fierce anxiety. It was like the death embracing the earth. Shiyang's attack was like a calm stream with his intent domain as the pioneer, followed by his powers, which carried some meanings of death and destruction in this world. His attack had seized the minds of the three true God Realm warriors, Comoros, Cassidy, and Evision. They couldn't maintain their sound mind anymore. The furious fiery dragon and Bloodmaned were calmed down by his vital soul light. The two hotshots of the monster clan looked at the situation around them, staying silent. Yang Tian Emperor was the only warrior who wasn't affected much. He was still bombarding Cassidy. With the blood wheel in his hand, he looked like a bloody-skinned man. Everybody would shiver at the first at him. Cassidy had lost his mind. He forgot to use the advanced soul of the Ghost Mark clan while wrestling with Yang Tian Emperor. They were entangling with each other in close combat. With only one glance, Shiyang knew Cassidy was over. Yang Tian Emperor would crush him fiercely. Shiyang had experienced the bursting power of the Yang family's immortal martial spirit in close combat. Yang Tian Emperor's immortal martial spirit had a high level. As long as he hadn't burned all of his immortal blood, he could have an undying body. Only someone who had mental problems would want to fight face to face with him. Cassidy was that sort of a person. Help me kill that hotshot of the Dark Spirit clan. Shiyang was calm. His eyes were like the tranquil water in the well as he talked to Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned. Kill him. We all gain benefits. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned were hesitant. At this moment, they couldn't decide. They exchanged looks and used the distinctive body gestures of Monster Clan to communicate. They were from the Monster Clan, one of the alien tribes. Cooperating with Shiyang had violated their rules already. If they joined Shiyang and killed the members of the Ghost Mark clan and the Dark Spirit clan, once it was exposed, the consequence would be like Shiyang's. The 7 ancient factions would reject them. They would become the crooked traitors of the Monster Clan. They had shouted, telling Comoros and Evision to wait and see their deadly powers. However, at this point, they were hesitant. Shiyang frowned as he changed his mind. His eyes gave people an ancient, torrential aura. The Big Dipper bow was created one more time. He touched his chest, as countless star dots gushed out, turning into clusters of light which were as big as a finger, and shot forward thunderously. This attack seemed to provoke the stars in the sky again. Abundant starlight above their heads showered like the water of the Milky Way. Starlight poured into the clusters of star dots, turning into the sharp star arrow, covering all members of the Ghost Mark clan who Comoros had led to this place. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, they were blood red. Flows of negative energy diffused from the tentacles on his body. At that moment, Shiyang's evil aura rocketed. Shortly, after 3 breaths, his aura had surpassed Yang Tian Emperor. Third sky of Rampage Realm. Shiyang's eyes were tranquil. They didn't carry any emotions a human should have. He looked like an evil, ancient creature from the foreign land, arrogantly looking at the creatures under his eyes as if he had the control of death in his eyes. Essence Qi from Qiu Hong and the warriors of the Heaven Temple had entered his body through the tentacles, stimulating his negative energy to the acme, making him evil and brutal. When he had entered the third sky of Rampage Realm the second time, the bursting energy he could urge now was intimidatingly formidable, something he had never experienced before. When it fused with his qi and the energy in his muscles, the combination had made the power he could control surpass Yang Tian Emperor. His eyes weren't wild and stubborn anymore. At this moment, they were so cold that they could chill people's hearts. He clutched the Sky Destroyer divine sword, walking deliberately. Occasionally, he swung his arm once. No bloodlight was generated from his hand movement, however, one of the Ghost Mark clan's warriors exploded on the spot. Pieces of flesh scattered everywhere. Many warriors who came here with Comoros had the Spirit Realm cultivation base. However, after each move of Shi Yang, they were like they had been tied tightly, unable to even wiggle. If someone scrutinized the scene, they would see the tentacles of his entire body jiggle furiously, as if they were capturing something. Only Shi Yang knew what the tentacles were coiling. It was the soul of the warrior. Although the Ghost Mark clan was well known for their soul ability, they couldn't avoid the negative energy tentacles. Even if they stood 1,000 meters away, their souls would still be seized. It seemed those tentacles could appear directly in their sea of consciousness. They were bizarre and malicious indeed. Shi Yang took each step nonchalantly. People present there then saw the Ghost Mark clan's hotshot, who was 1,000 meters away from him, explode. Afterward, the soul-gathering pearl would snatch their souls all, while Shi Yang's tentacles collected their essence chi. Shi Yang was now a devil walking on earth, which could easily take lives of any creatures, snatching their rights to be alive. Chapter 639, Repercussion. Chapter 639, Repercussion. Shi Yang's negative field affected Comoros, Cassidy, and Evision, the three true God Realm warriors of the pagan tribes. Their minds were blurry, which subdued their energy altogether. These three true God Realm warriors of the alien tribes had been worn out over 10,000 years. Their power had been damaged badly, or perhaps they were hurt before, and were yet to recover fully. Comoros' team had high realms, but the energy accumulated in their bodies was far behind the human experts at the same realm, such as Yun Hao or Qin Jiu Chuan. Without the support from Bao Ao and experts of the Corpse Clan, the Ghost Mark clan in the Shady Firmament Old Mound could never destroy the entire Spirit Treasure sect. With insufficient energy, they couldn't bring out their competence well. Of course, they couldn't show the ability of their realms. Comoros had the cultivation base at the third sky of True God Realm, but he got the most wounded body that year, and he hadn't recovered fully until now. At most, he could endure a fight with Yun Hao, but he would fall in a disadvantaged situation for sure. Cassidy and Evision were at the second sky of True God Realm, but their real competence was only equal to Chu Bai Ching. Otherwise, Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned wouldn't have been able to subdue them. The Dark Spirit clan and the Ghost Mark clan were the strong tribes in the antiquity time. If they had restored their powers to their peak, Yang Tian Emperor, Fiery Dragon, and Bloodmaned would have never been their opponents. Shi Yang walked calmly in the void. Ash-gray smoke moved around him, as thick as the steam above the lake. He surprised people a lot. Comoros, Cassidy, and Evision had their minds occupied by the negative field, which made them forget to use the fighting method they understood the best. They were instinctively urging the energy in their bodies to counter, which wasn't a good move. Ghost Mark clan's members fell and exploded one by one along with Shi Yang's steps. Their essence chi and souls were absorbed completely by him. Ah! A desperate, mournful roar came out from the mouth of the last warrior of the Ghost Mark clan at first sky of Spirit Realm. His voice was like a sharp weapon that could shake people's hearts. Comoros was baffled. A strange light dot sparkled in his sleeve all of a sudden. The yin-written charm scripture flew out, releasing an immense, grey mist, covering Cassidy, Comoros, and Evision altogether. Comoros almost awakened instantly, his eyes clear and calm. As soon as he woke up, he found all of his clansmen accompanying him had exploded to death. They were just pieces of meat and blood puddles now. Comoros' eyes reddened instantly. Earth Spirit bind. He let out a low cry that was almost inaudible. The sound wave from his mouth stormed into the yin-written charm scripture. Numerous eccentric ghost scripture on the yin-written charm scripture started to move. Mysterious yin chi overflowed from the scripture, blending with Comoros' energy. Flows of soul energy also reached Comoros' sea of consciousness. A strange, invisible aura diffused from Comoros. His reddened eyes became clear again. He held the yin-written charm scripture, moving his hands to form some hand seals while continually muttering something under his breath. Yang Tian Emperor was attacking Cassidy furiously. All of a sudden, his bloody body trembled, as fine cracks appeared on his blood-red armor. Numerous ghost symbols of the yin-written charm scripture flew up to the sky, arraying a magical word formation. It was like the writing of some mysterious technique that furiously absorbed the energy of heaven and earth, converting it into yin-chi. Countless five-colored ghost writings appeared in the sky from thin air, interweaving with each other and creating the seal of an ancient barrier. A strange, invisible energy was generated. Even though they couldn't see the attack or impact, the armor covering Yang Tian Emperor's chest cracked at a speed naked eyes could observe. It seemed ready to explode shortly. Yang Tian Emperor was sinking in his slaughtering, but he suddenly awakened. His bloody body shook violently. Although Komaro's power had been decreased dramatically compared to his peak state, he was still a true God Realm expert. This time, he was determined to use the accumulated energy of the yin-written charm scripture to make up for his energy's shortage. Eventually, he could use the power that he could bring out when he was at his peak state. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned were impacted. Blood splashed from their giant bodies. Those Ghost Mark clan symbols seemed to cut them too. The two experts of the monster clan screeched. They hastened to shrink their bodies, transforming to human form to minimize the impact. Komaros stooped with a cold face while his hands were constantly making hand seals, pouring into the yin-written charm scripture. The yin-written charm scripture sparkled, releasing so many magical symbols dancing in the air. They arrayed a strange ghost scripture formation, creating a terrifying restraining and cutting energy. Yang Tian Emperor couldn't move anymore. He halted in the void as pain transgressed over his entire body like a surging tide. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned didn't dare to act recklessly. They used the rigid body of the monster clan to resist. Their blood and flesh mixed, bringing an extreme pain that they'd rather die than endure. Just like them, Shi Yang was affected, his body cut by some invisible threads. However, unlike to Yang Tian Emperor, Fiery Dragon, and Bloodmaned, he didn't scream in pain. He just frowned and stayed calm as usual. The others didn't know when his body started to glow with a golden halo. At first glance, he looked like a freak that was molded from pure gold. After that, the invisible ghost scripture formation couldn't cut through his body. He suddenly got it, as he finally recognized the effects of the golden marrow of the golden giant, which had promoted its effects in his body. This kind of defense was unbreakable, even dissolving Komaros' mysterious attack. Seeing Yang Tian Emperor, Fiery Dragon, and Bloodmaned unable to resist the formation anymore, Shi Yang contemplated and then touched his chest. The star original essence he had absorbed into his heart looked like the most glorious big diamond as it flew out under the star powers driving and struck towards Komaros. The boundless sky where stars shone dazzlingly seemed to expand further. A downpour of starlight from the sky looked like a big river pouring into the star original essence. Shi Yang was struggling, using his soul to manipulate the star original essence as it approached closer to Komaros. Just like ranges of mountains collapsing at the same time, the small star original essence bloomed out a formidable pressure, which made Komaros pale in fear. The star original essence was the intrinsic nature of the stars in the sky. It was much heavier than it looked. A fist-sized star original essence could be heavier than 10 mountains. Under such pressure, Komaros couldn't hold his fort. Crack, crack, crack. The star original essence was pressing to the point that even space was about to crack. The cracking sounds echoed in the void, making people's hearts shiver. The mountain-like pressure covered the entire space. Even the true God Realm warriors like Cassidy felt his body getting unusually heavy, his soul stagnant. Komaros mused on the star original essence, then quickly urged his energy to counter. Ultimately, he couldn't stand it anymore, retreating the ghost symbols in the sky into the yin-written charm scripture. He was struggling hard to stand still. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 3 snow-white bone thorns glided through space and appeared simultaneously behind Komaros, Cassidy, and Evision, stabbing them violently. Puff, puff, puff. 3 bone thorns were refined from the bones of the level 10 beast. They attacked the 3 aliens from their backs, but 2 of them couldn't pierce through Komaros and Evision. However, blood gushed out from their mouths. Cassidy's situation was the most pitiful. A bone thorn pierced through his chest from his back. His heart was torn, and his life was sliding away from him. Cassidy couldn't endure any more. Komaro's face grimaced. He roared and crazily shouted, as he was about to strike a fatal attack. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane stormed over with their bloody bodies. Their ferocious instinct had been stimulated. They wanted to pull Komaros and kill him. Go! Evision shouted. Komaros was struck. He swung the yin-written charm scripture in his hand to collect Cassidy's god soul. Then, he urged the yin-written charm scripture the second time to pull Evision into the scripture too. A marvelous wave of energy shot out from the yin-written charm scripture. Komaros and Evision shrank rapidly inside that energy wave, as countless dazzling beams interweaved in layers of space next to them. The others then saw their bodies shrink, until they were as big as a light dot. They then disappeared into thin air like dust. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane swarmed over, but they found that Komaros and Evision had disappeared completely. They left nothing behind, not even a wave of soul energy. Lying in that place was only the body of Cassidy, which was pierced through. His god soul had been collected and kept in the yin-written charm scripture. The yin-written charm scripture was the halidom of the Ghost Mark clan at the divine grade. Komaros using the scripture to escape in just a blink was something Shi Yang's team had never thought about, and they could only watch the others leave. Damn the Ghost Mark clan! Fiery Dragon roared indignantly, while blood still dripped from his body. He has given me bad wounds. I'm so unlucky. Bloodmane also had so many open cuts on his body. Even the steel-like bodies of the monster clan couldn't endure Komaros' furious attack. Yang Tian Emperor's eyes restored their natural look. In the other's eyes, he was just a bloody skeleton. Without blood and flesh, he looked pitiful and scary at the same time. At first glance, Shi Yang understood that Yang Tian Emperor was hurt badly. Even if he could receive treatment timely, he couldn't recover in just a short time. Burning his god blood and his own flesh and blood to urge all the potential power of his body, Yang Tian Emperor had burst out a formidable power. However, it was beyond his endurance. And, Komaros had attacked him, cracking his armor. Di Shan, Li Zhangrong, Ji Mu, and Yu Ying were hiding at a far distance and observing the situation. At this moment, they finally got the guts to step over, looking at Yang Tian Emperor with a frightened but respectful expression. How are you? Shi Yang moved, walking towards Yang Tian Emperor. He asked while taking in the essence chi from Cassidy. I got hurt badly, and I can't recover in a short time. Yang Tian Emperor's voice seemed to sound from his throat, which was really bizarre. However, after this fight, my understanding of the power of desperation has reached a whole new world. If nothing unexpected happens, when I'm healed, my realm will increase too. Shi Yang was struck with joy, as a light flashed across his head. Great-grandpa, don't worry. I'll make you recover fast, really fast. Chapter 640, Demon Clan? God Clan? Chapter 640, Demon Clan? God Clan. The area by the lake became quiet again. Fiery Dragon and Bloodmane transformed into their beast shape, balling their bodies near the lake to heal themselves in silence. The two level 9 hotshots were using the secret techniques of the Demon Clan to gather heaven and earth spiritual chi. Di Shan, Li Zhangrong, Yu Ying, and Ji Mu, the 4 spirit realm warriors, kept silent, but many thoughts were moving in their heads. Shi Yang was standing next to Yang Tian Emperor. Yang Tian Emperor was now a bloody skeleton. After his insanity had subsided, he was exhausted. The ferocious, wild aura he possessed had settled. From deep inside his eyes, people could see that he was fatigued. Shi Yang sat neatly. His face was indifferent, his eyes slightly squinted. The tentacles jutting out from his acupuncture points had retreated. They were shaking inside his acupuncture points to filter the energy. Trying to press down the craziness in his heart, he sent his thought to the star original essence, using its power to clear his mind and purify his soul. This way, he could keep himself safe from the negative energy's side effects. He had used the star original essence to understand the star power. His star martial spirit had a new breakthrough, which promoted his realm to the third sky of Spirit Realm. As he had many boosts, when he entered the third sky of Spirit Realm, he could bring out the power of a true God Realm warrior, which helped him seize the upper hand while fighting with Comoros. Feeling the energies in his body calm down, Shi Yang used his soul consciousness to sense, and saw his unbreakable golden skeleton. The golden marrow of the golden giant's bones had improved his body's durability to another level. Now, it was inconceivably rigid. His petrification martial spirit had obviously surpassed the barrier that the Shi family had always encountered. After the second breakthrough, even Shi Jian couldn't imagine his situation at this moment. Thanks to all sorts of fortuitous encounters, he had been able to resist Comoros' attack with a body that would never be broken. He could also stabilize his mind and attack Comoros, making him run away in fear. Today, he had the cultivation base at the third sky of Spirit Realm, and an incomparable body. His negative energy was tremendous. He had a new breakthrough in his martial spirits, along with the undying body of the Yang family. The combination of these miraculous abilities gave him the foundation to deal with higher realm warriors. Quieting down his emotions, Shi Yang used the mysterious martial spirit he had gotten the first to refine the essence qi that he had absorbed. The negative emotions generated from this process were pressed down by his brave and persistent will. As he felt the torrential storms in his acupuncture points, he calmed his mind and emptied it. After an unknown period, he woke up, putting 2 hands on Yang Tian Emperor all of a sudden. Yang Tian Emperor's bloody body was shaken, while a divine light bloomed out from his eyes. He couldn't help but let out a low shout. "Little Yang, you can't." Yang Tian Emperor could feel a mysterious energy from Shi Yang's palms. This energy quickly merged with his essence qi and combined with his blood, bringing formidable energy fluctuations to help him condense the immortal blood once again. This massive energy was rolling into Yang Tian Emperor's body, making him feel as if his body was soaked in a hot spring. It was so comfortable that he almost groaned. However, he shortly restrained his joy, as he thought that if he absorbed this energy, Shi Yang would have to consume his own energy massively. Thus, he didn't want to take it in, and even wanted to stop receiving it unilaterally. "Don't move," Shi Yang shouted, talking in a serious tone. "Great-grandpa, I don't need this energy. If I want it, I can always obtain it quite easily. I have a magical martial spirit, which helps me not to worry about lacking energy, forever." Having heard him, Yang Tian Emperor's bloody skeleton trembled. Although Shi Yang didn't say it clearly, Yang Tian Emperor could understand the hidden meaning in his words. He would never have to worry about lacking energy. How dangerous it was to go against the natural order like that. He suddenly recognized why Shi Yang could progress that fast, entering the new realms before his estimated time. Apparently, it was related to the martial spirit Shi Yang had just mentioned. "You should take in this energy. It will be handy to your body now," Shi Yang continued to mutter. "I don't need it now. Even if I need it, it's as easy as a piece of cake to obtain it again." Yang Tian Emperor contemplated for a while and then received the energy from him with joy. Shi Yang suddenly felt the power he had been pouring into Yang Tian Emperor's body flow smoothly. He knew Yang Tian Emperor agreed to receive it. Soon, the mysterious energy refined by his acupuncture points all poured into Yang Tian Emperor's body. Yang Tian Emperor started to condense the immortal blood again. Next, he used his immortal blood to perform the immortal rebirth secret of the Yang family to grow his flesh again, connecting his broken vessels and tendons. After 4 hours, Yang Tian Emperor had become a lively human again from a bloody skeleton. Di Shan, Li Zhengrong, Yu Ying, and Jimu stood not far from them. They all gawked in fear, but didn't know what to say. Yang Tian Emperor had used the immortal martial spirit of the Yang family to its peak ability. He had used the immortal blood to grow his flesh again. This miracle was beyond their knowledge. Only Shi Yang knew that after each time their bodies were annealed by the immortal rebirth secret, they would surpass the tenacious level of the previous bodies, which would facilitate the growth of their powers. After each time of rebirth, their bodies would change completely. When Yang Tian Emperor recovered, the tenacity of his body leaped up by a big part compared to the previous one. Moreover, Yang Tian Emperor had also broken through to the third sky of Spirit Realm after this event. I want to stay quiet for a little bit. After Yang Tian Emperor had recovered his body, he uttered simply while joy could be seen on his face. Shi Yang reacted immediately and used to earth flame to create the passage leading to the bottom of the lake. He brought Yang Tian Emperor there, followed by Di Shan and Li Zhangrong. Now, Shi Yang, Fiery Dragon, Bloodmaned, and Yu Ying, Ji Mu who came from the Ice and Fire secret domain, were standing by the lake now. You guys stay here. When the time comes, I will let you leave. Shi Yang glared at the other two, talking to them faintly. Don't worry, I won't mistreat you. Not long afterward, you will figure out that being with me was a wise decision. Boy, you are so naughty. Generous laughter arose from a far distance. Bloodmaned and Fiery Dragon were trying to restore fast, jolting up with a solemn expression. A halo appeared in front of Shi Yang, gradually turning into a good-looking middle-aged man. He was smiling warmly. Master. Ji Mu and Yu Ying bent down to greet him. Shi Yang kept quiet for a while, then also bent and greeted him. Master, thanks for protecting the Yang family. I will always keep your favor in mind. You remember my favor, but you treat my elders like that. Yun Hao shook his head with an odd face. Ji Mu and Yu Ying came here to bring you to the Ice and Fire secret domain. The pagans are raging outside. Eventually, they would kill you all. Harumph. Bloodmaned disagreed. We are living in good harmony with Shi Yang. Why do we need to harm him? Only you cunning humans could have many wild schemes. You guys always attack your own fellows. Yun Hao felt funny. It's really me who does things in vain. I didn't think that you would stay with the pagans. Sigh, it was my one-sided thought I guess. Ji Mu and Yu Ying frowned. They had witnessed the dangerous interaction between Shi Yang and the alien tribes. They didn't know what to say. I will keep your good thought in mind. Shi Yang was honest and respectful while talking with Yun Hao. But I don't want to go to the Ice and Fire secret domain. I've killed many people of the 7 ancient factions. I can't stay with them. I know my situation isn't good either. Sooner or later, the 7 ancient factions will aim at me. I just want to survive. No matter what I have to do, as long as I can stay in the perpetual night forest, I don't care whether my partners are pagans or not. Yun Hao was surprised. He hesitated for a while and then said, You know, when you do that, you will never have a chance to be accepted by human clan. At least, members of the 7 ancient factions will never approve your operations. If you do so, you will stand on the opposite side to us. I understand, Shi Yang smiled begrudgingly. I can't destroy the Dark Devil clan and the Winged clan. The relationship between the alien tribes and me is deep, and the current situation isn't something I want to see. The 7 ancient factions are pushing us. I just do my best to protect myself. Who says Shi Yang is a human? At this moment, Bloodmaned screamed from the other side. He has the bloodline of alien tribes. Otherwise, he wouldn't be like that. You human clan has your bloodline mixed with other tribes. You are not pure, you know. Without blending with our alien tribe's bloodline, you low humans, how could you grow that fast? You always say pagans and aliens, how clean do you think you are? I don't know about the others, but the headmaster of the Yang family should have an alien bloodline. His tremendous recovery ability is something only the alien tribes can have. You human clan will never have such innate ability. Fiery Dragon suddenly mocked, if you hadn't mixed with our bloodline, the human clan would have been annihilated in the antiquity epoch. How could you slowly rebel that way? Harumph. The reason why humans can thrive fast is because of snatching and robbing. You've robbed spiritual chi, precious materials, the properties of different clans. You are the corrupted insects of this continent. The other tribes agree with this statement. Bloodmaned groaned. Yun Hao was muted by the words of the 2 experts of the monster clan. Shi Yang was startled too. He frowned, looking at Fiery Dragon with a dull face. You say there's alien tribe bloodline in my great-grandpa's body? Absolutely. Fiery Dragon confirmed resolutely. Human clan has never had such a vigorous recovery ability. In the antiquity time, there were only 2 clans which had such ability. Which ones? Shi Yang asked with astonishment. The demon clan, Fiery Dragon answered seriously. He paused for a while, then continued gingerly, or the God clan. Chapter 641, Parting Ways. Chapter 641, Parting Ways. The God clan was one of the 10 antiquity clans, the strongest one. Whenever members of the other clans got their inheritance, they would also receive the secrets. Then, they would try to avoid mentioning this clan. This clan seemed to be the forbidden word, which could tremble the other hotshots of the alien tribes. According to the legends from different clans, the first clan that ever existed on this continent was the God clan. They seemed to be the favored kind of the Almighty in heaven. From the day they were born, they were destined to be the lord of this place with endless powers. During a very long period, the God clan was the real leader of the other tribes. It was the leader who ruled the 10 tribes, controlling the entire continent. But all that changed one day when the other 9 tribes united and banished the God clan, this powerful clan. Thus, the strongest clan of this epoch disappeared. Many other clans told the legend of this clan. They told the tale that when the 9 tribes joined hands and dealt with the God clan, this clan had run away, leaving the Grace mainland, going to the universe. They had never appeared in the Grace mainland ever since. There were many tales about the God clan. However, when the pagan tribes talked about the God clan, there were always some similar stories about how strong their supernatural powers were. The 9 clans had pushed this clan away from the Grace mainland, but no tribe dared to say they had the triumph over this clan. When Fiery Dragon mentioned the clan, he was a little bit uneasy. He didn't dare to talk clearly. The God clan was the strongest clan in the antiquity time. Every tribe recognized them. If the God clan were still on this continent, they would be our masters, as before. Shi Yang was dumbstruck. Later on, he shook his head with a forced smile. It's okay. No matter it's the bloodline of the demon clan or the God clan, it's no different to me. I don't care what tribe it is, whoever helps me will be my friend, and whoever troubles me will be my enemy, no matter which race it is. Bloodmaned really liked his attitude. He laughed evilly and then shouted, "Don't worry. We Monster Clan will be your friends. Being abandoned by the Human Clan isn't something so terrible. Human Clan will be cleared up, anyway." Yun Hao's face grimaced. "I'm not going to the Ice and Fire secret domain, but I always keep your favor in my heart." Shi Yang sighed, shaking his head. "If Cult Master is here, Jimu and Yu Ying can leave with you. I just hope that we wouldn't meet again on the battlefield." Yun Hao was struck. He slammed his eyebrows together as if he was thinking about the best result that could be obtained. "You should be careful. If you don't go to the Ice and Fire secret domain this time, I'm afraid you won't have any chance later." He pondered for a while and then said with worry, "Even if nothing happened today, the 7 ancient factions would notice. I think some people have started their stealthy operation, right?" Shi Yang harumphed and nodded. "It's true. After they got out of the secret domain, they attacked my people not just once. If they didn't push us, I wouldn't treat them that way." "You should solve it," Yun Hao sighed. "The girl you said. Xia Xinyang, she isn't an ordinary girl. She has entered the true God realm, and has condensed the God soul. Soon, she will be one of our sharpest weapons." Shi Yang's eyes brightened. He kept silent for seconds and then cracked a smile. "Good then. I know she would reach this point. She's faster than me. Don't you feel lost?" Yun Hao felt strange. "This means the gap between you two has been widened." Shi Yang just smiled, but didn't answer him. "Yeah, and Lin Meng of the Pure Land has reached the 3rd sky of True God Realm. She seems to depend on that girl to break through again using some secret techniques." Yun Hao hesitated for a while. "If Lin Meng succeeds, we don't need to stay in the Ice and Fire secret domain anymore." Shi Yang didn't react to his words. However, Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned changed their countenance, screaming in fear. Lin Meng was the leader of the Pure Land. She had always wanted to kill the pagans. If she could break through to the King God realm, she would be the nightmare for the alien tribes. And, the monster clan in the perpetual night forest would be the first target. Not that fast or easy. The failure rate is relatively high though. Yun Hao frowned. Perhaps Lin Ming would fail. However, if Xia Xinyang could break through that fast, of course, she would reach the King God realm soon. Shiyang, have you ever thought that in the future, you and that little girl would have to stand on two opposite sides? When the 7 ancient factions attacked the Yang family, did she show her attitude? Shiyang sparkled, asking calmly. She has never shown up. The Pure Land has hidden her like a treasure. No one knows what attitude she has. Yun Hao shook his head. Anyway, you have to think about it. I think they will take action not long afterward. Shi Yang nodded while pondering. Please tell Bing Qing Tong of the Ice Emperor City that if she has time, please come and meet me. Yun Hao burst out into a strange laughter and then nodded at him. Take care. I will always memorize your favor, cult master, said Shi Yang sincerely. Yun Hao wore a regretful countenance. He didn't advise the young man further, leaving with Ji Mu and Yu Ying to the Ice and Fire secret domain. This man's such a character, Bloodmaned sighed in relief. I thought he wanted to attack us. I didn't expect that he came here to pick up his people. Shi Yang, when will we start? Wait until I get up here again. Oh right, where's the 5 elements crystal marrow? Here you go. Bloodmaned spat out dozens of 5-colored crystal stones with an unwilling expression. These crystals were cyan, orange-red, yellow, green, and white. They looked like the most sparkling precious gems, carrying the pure powers of 5 elements. Under the shining light of the sun, moon, and stars in the sky, they radiated with a beautiful, mesmerizing, dazzling halo. The 5 elements crystal marrow was the essence of the 5 elements power. They were the energy source of some profound ancient formations. It wasn't easy for Bloodmaned to collect these crystals. He had planned to merge these crystals with his beast bead when he leveled up again. Apparently, he had played with his initial capital. Don't worry, I won't be unfair to you. Shi Yang swung his arm to take the crystal, stacking them in his storage ring. Wait until I get back, I will satisfy you guys. I won't let your effort slip away in vain. Then, Shi Yang flew up and sank into the lake, heading towards the Creator's divine pond directly. He urged the star martial spirit, using the star power to put the Bloodmaned back to the pond. When he comprehended the star power, he didn't consume all the energy of the star original essence. He had just watched and learned the process when a star was formed and ascended. In comprehending the mysteries of stars, he didn't encounter an energy shortage, he just needed to understand thoroughly. The star original essence recorded the meanings of the star's existence and its evolution, which he needed the most. He had sunk his soul into it to see the internal construction of a star. Now he knew why a small star could get tremendously bigger. He knew the secrets when a star absorbed the power of heaven to strengthen itself. Through this comprehension, he had used the star martial spirit to reach the 3rd sky of spirit realm. His star martial spirit had evolved, which accelerated the star power absorption speed 10 times faster. The star original essence slowly fell into the ancient formation. Shi Yang flickered his mind, releasing the 5 elements crystal marrow. Then, he used his soul to manipulate the crystals, falling into the eye of the formation in a special rhythm. Shi Yang took out the life original fluid he had collected before, and started to pour little by little into the center of the Creator's divine pond. It was moving distinctively, separating from the direction of the soul-washing divine water, floating in the critical location of the spiritual station in the Creator's divine pond. Magical hand seals flew out from his hands. Just like swimming fishes, they started to gather and readjust the scattering energy. Gradually, the Creator's divine pond released an immense halo. Countless top-grade essence crystals in the lake bottom seemed to be activated. Essence chi started to roll massively into the Creator's divine pond. Great Grandpa! At this moment, Shi Yang shouted. Divine light surged torrentially in his eyes. Yang Tian Emperor was awakened. He was surprised at first, but then, he shook his head. It's a bit early for me. I've just reached the 3rd sky of spirit realm, so I need time to improve it. Let Di Shan go first. Shi Yang didn't say anything for a while before nodding his head. Just like Yang Tian Emperor, he had reached the 3rd sky of spirit realm, but he didn't want to enter the Creator's divine pond at this time, since he thought that his realm wasn't stable yet. It perhaps wasn't a right decision to get the true God realm rashly this way. He had thought that young Tian Emperor would be different. However, he had declined the opportunity too. He knew he too would be rushing if he did this. The pressure from the 7 ancient factions had always existed. And it was going to be more intense. Comoros had escaped alive. When he came back, he would be more formidable. Besides, there were other alien tribes, the Dark Spirit Clan and the Corpse Clan. They would arrive in the Perpetual Night Forest sooner or later to fight with the 7 ancient factions face to face. He thought that the time was less, and it would take a long time to improve his powers. Compared to the 7 ancient factions and the alien tribes, he was small, and he couldn't influence the whole picture much, or be able to protect himself. So, he had to enhance himself and the members of his team. The power young Tian Emperor had just shown everybody was much more than Di Shan. That's why Shi Yang hoped to see young Tian Emperor as the first one entering the true God realm, which would give him more support. Di Shan, you go first. As he realized he shouldn't be rushing, he exhaled and then nodded to Di Shan. Di Shan was struck. He jolted, his face excited. However, he looked nervous, standing in his spot as he didn't know what to do. How should I get in there? What should I do after I get in? Shi Yang chuckled. Don't be nervous. It's simple. You just need to fly to the spiritual station and land there. Then, you release your soul to enter the station. It will guide your soul. You just need to follow it. The Creator's divine pond was created by the strongest clans in antiquity time, which cost a lot of efforts for a complicated formation and countless materials. However, it was effortless to use. The instruction was as simple as what Shi Yang had said. Di Shan was comforted. He gathered himself and flew up, heading towards the Creator's divine pond. Li Zhangrong and Yi Changfeng were looking at him with bright eyes. They didn't even blink, and their breathing was held. Old Li, after Di Shan's done, it's your turn. Shi Yang contemplated for a while and then said, your realm is enough, so you shouldn't worry. We have a big pressure at this moment. I want you to not go to the Ice and Fire secret domain for the time being after you've succeeded. I'm going the same way with you guys. Li Zhangrong agreed resolutely without any hesitation. Shi Yang beamed a faint smile and gently nodded to him. Chapter 642. Upgrade the whole body. Chapter 642. Upgrade the whole body. Di Shan stood still on the station inside the Creator's divine pond, his eyes closed. There was no surging energy wave around him, and he looked as if he was sleeping. Glowing top-grade essence crystals in the lake bottom had been activated. A large amount of pure, glorious energy gathered like gossamer, moving towards the Creator's divine pond. The floating station was like the brain of a human soul. It was a messy place where different kinds of energy were intertwining. Although bunches and beams of light were dazzling, they still made people feel peaceful. The refined soul power of the life original fluid and the soul-washing divine water gradually overflowed Di Shan's sea of consciousness. He sat still indifferently, while trying his best to absorb the energies into his sea of consciousness. He felt so comfortable, as if he were soaking in a warm stream. Each pore of his was relaxed. Shi Yang, Li Zhangrong, and Yi Changfeng were standing by the Creator's divine pond and observing. They were a little bit nervous, as they were afraid something unexpected would happen. The Creator's divine pond was a structure built in the antiquity time. Only the strongest clans could build it, since it cost countless materials and efforts. This divine pond had swallowed so many magical things to have such miraculous effects. Although Shi Yang was 100% sure, he couldn't confirm whether Di Shan would succeed or not. The only thing he could confirm was that Di Shan wouldn't endure many strenuous experiences. When the life original fluid and the soul-washing divine water blended with each other, they turned into an ivory fluid, seeping into Di Shan's head through 7 holes on his face. At this moment, Shi Yang couldn't help but exhale in relief. Di Shan suddenly opened his eyes. From deep inside his pupils, people could vaguely see many light dots entangling with each other. It looked like the star movement to circulate energy in the Milky Way. A flow of energy emitted from his body, cheering up people in the surroundings. Di-Shan's sea of consciousness started to change slowly, beginning to follow the Creator's divine pond to rebuild. Each flow of his soul consciousness was refined to become the support when he condensed the God soul. Shi Yang suddenly turned to Li Zhengrong and Yi Changfeng, then smiled. He's entered the main track. As long as no one disturbs him, it will take 7 days max to create the God soul. When Di-Shan gets the God soul, he can leave the Creator's divine pond. After that, he just needs to adjust himself to the new realm. Old Li, when he gets out, you can get in there to break through your realm. I wish for you to enter the true God realm as soon as possible. Li Zhengrong was so joyful he couldn't stop laughing. His face looked like a blooming flower, as he was so excited he didn't know what to say. He had stayed in the spirit realm for dozens of years. As one of the leading alchemists in the Grace Mainland, he understood the difference between the spirit realm and the true God realm more than anyone else. He knew what it meant when he had stepped into the true God realm. In the true God realm, the warriors had the God soul, which was immortal unless it was attacked by some special treasures. Although his body was smashed, a true God realm expert could always escape the body, or use a pregnant woman's womb to be reborn again in the shape of a baby. Alternatively, he could choose a young man with outstanding features and occupy his soul to thrive further. No matter which method the true God realm warrior chose, he could have another chance to reach his original realm one more time. If he decided to be reborn as a baby, he could have a better chance at understanding the deep meanings of power faster while trying to recover his power. This opportunity made the true God realm leap up a long step reasonably. He would find it easy to break through a minor realm. There were many second sky of true God realm experts who couldn't find the right chance to comprehend the Upanishad. That's why they couldn't break through to the third sky of true God realm. At such a stage, true God realm warriors with big guts and great desires would choose to be reborn as a child, so as to progress faster. It would take around 10 years to reach the second sky of true God realm, the realm of his previous body. Afterward, he could seize the chance to enter the third sky of true God realm. To the true God realm warriors, this was a stupid method to break through. However, it was almost 100% certain without any incident. Of course, most of the true God realm warriors had the absolute confidence in themselves, so they wouldn't dare to take risks and be reborn. Rebirth meant doing things all over again. If his enemy knew that, he would be killed before he had enough time to grow. You guys should watch here. I have to go out for a while. Wait until I come back. Old Li should be a true God realm expert already. Shi Yang smiled as he was about to leave the lake bottom. Shi Yang, the perpetual night forest isn't a safe place at this moment. Where do you want to go? Li Zhengrong frowned and asked. I've agreed with Fiery Dragon and Bloodmaned to help them anneal their bodies and weapons. I have to keep my word. Shi Yang glared at Yang Tian Emperor. I assume Bloodmaned still has 5 elements crystal marrow, which is the requirement to maintain the Creator's divine pond. If I don't comfort Bloodmaned and Fiery Dragon, we wouldn't have enough 5 elements crystal marrow. The next time, it would be hard to use the pond to break through again. He had thought for Yang Tian Emperor, Yu Ruo, and Yi Tian Mo. He wanted to use the divine pond to make his people enter the true God realm quickly. As long as his people could increase their realms, under the current circumstances, he could survive better, and wouldn't need to struggle his life in the valley between the clans. You should take these pellets. Perhaps, you'll need them soon, Li Zhengrong pondered. A storage ring flew out from his finger, falling into Shi Yang's palm. This ring stores many pellets I have refined dedicatedly. Although you don't need them, with these medicines, your people would have a bigger chance to survive. Receiving the storage ring, Shi Yang's soul consciousness flickered. He found that the ring contained almost 100 bottles, storing different kinds of medicines and pellets. Some could nurture the soul, and the others could promote the essence qi. There were some pellets which could enhance the warrior's physique and heal wounds faster. Li Zhengrong was a sacred-grade alchemist, and he had spent his whole life to study and refine medicines. He was a peerless expert in the Grace Mainland. The pellets he refined were treasures that the warriors always yearned for in the outside world. Shi Yang nodded continually to thank him, his face happy. While Di Shan is breaking through his realm, I'm going to refine some pellets. Yeah, when you return, I'll give them to you. Li Zhengrong smiled then said, seems we have to stay together. If you and your people become stronger, I can have more support. Right, if you see Ya Qi, please take her with you. Where is she? The Ice and Fire secret domain. Li Zhengrong beamed a forced smile. Her realm is too low, and her manners aren't good. As she isn't with us now, I'm afraid she might suffer in the Ice and Fire secret domain. Sigh, Chu Baiqing is dead. With Qin Jiu Chuan's dark plan, when he deals with Ya Qi, I'm afraid something bad would happen to her. Shi Yang's heart sank, but he nodded quietly. I'll try my best. Li Zhengrong didn't say anything else. Waves rippled on the quiet lake, and a bunch of fiery flames shot out. A figure appeared in the blaze. Blood-maned and Fiery Dragon were waiting for him. Seeing him, they smiled, storming forward to greet him. Shi Yang curled his lips into a smile, speaking faintly. As we have made a deal, it's time to make it up to you guys. From now on, I'm going to refine your bodies and forge your treasures. Of course, you have to prepare materials sufficiently. Ha ha ha, we've prepared already. As long as you want it, everything will be at your service. Blood-maned and Fiery Dragon laughed in unison. For the monster clan, things they had aplenty were all kinds of heaven and earth products. Living in the perpetual night forest for thousands of years, the materials that the monster clan's experts had collected were piled up, enough to support both their bodies and weapon quenching. Among the clans, Human Clan was good at using heaven and earth objects. They had various methods to do that. Human alchemists and blacksmiths were all the excellent experts who could use these things fluently. Normally, no human dared to cause grudges against the entire mankind to refine weapons for Monster Clan. That's why, although they had collected abundant materials, they couldn't find a suitable refiner. Shi Yang dared to hold this precedent as he didn't care about the anger of the entire humanity. It was more than what Blood-maned and Fiery Dragon wished. Under Fiery Dragon and Blood-maned's guidance, Shi Yang found Blood-maned's treasure which had been hidden for several thousand years. Looking at the colorful materials filling up the whole spacious cave, the smile on his face widened. All right, you should be prepared. We are going to start now. Blood-maned and Fiery Dragon were so excited that flames sparked from their eyes. Half a month later, somewhere in the cave underground, Blood-maned with his shining gold body roared fiercely and stormed out rumblingly. Light of flame was still glowing on his giant body. He looked like he was molded from melting iron, and looked vigorously beautiful. Waves of sharp and imposing aura rippled from the blood manner on his body, heating up the entire space. Blood-maned was moving back and forth. Giant ancient trees on his way were smacked down, turning into wood chips. He was like a bulldozer, crushing the dozen meters tall trees into pieces. Blood-maned was releasing his energy freely, gold waves rippling from him. Blood-maned was like the Grand Master of the Monster Clan, imposingly vigorous and lively, with abundant aura. Roo. Blood-maned laughed wildly. He was so excited that he couldn't stop moving through the forest. Gold light bloomed from his body, carrying the metal power of the 5 elements, which could simply break even the hardest defenses. After rolling around for a while, Blood-maned felt satisfied. Smiles filled his eyes as he then moved his giant body back to the cave underground. A silver chain that was around 100 meters long soared up from the cave. This chain was as wide as a human body. Countless complicated patterns meandered on the chain as if they were the blood veins, and a blood aura emitted from it. Fiery Dragon appeared all of a sudden. When he flickered his dragon claw, the silver chain seemed like it was stuck with a flow of fire, burning fiercely. The silver chain flew around as fast as lightning, along with his maneuver. Where it passed through, giant stones were broken into small pieces. This power was really intimidating. Shi Yang, I need a good treasure like that. Blood-maned cried dissatisfied. You forged the chain for Fiery Dragon, but you've used a big amount of my materials. You have to make it up for me. Shi Yang emerged from the cave underground, his face covered in dust. However, his eyes were bright with divine light, dark and profound like the galaxy in the sky. His appearance made people respect and fear him. We need to negotiate. It's for the future of your monster clan. Shi Yang laughed loudly. He strolled towards them, his mood elevated. Chapter 643, King of Perpetual Night Forest. Chapter 643, King of Perpetual Night Forest. For the future of our monster clan? Yang Long didn't understand anything, but he thought Shi Yang's words were shocking. He was bewildered for a while. Our monster clan's doing well. How could it matter to the future of our clan? Times have changed, Shi Yang said with a solemn visage. Today, every clan is thriving. Demon Clan, Dark Clan, Corpse Clan, Dark Spirit Clan, Ghostmark Clan. They're all the clans from the antiquity. They aren't weaker than you guys. Since the Great Space Fission happened, experts from different clans have received the ancient inheritance. If the monster clan is stagnant, the other clans will dominate you. You'll decline gradually. You guys will become their mounts. The faces of Yang Long and Xuelu became grim immediately. This was the most forbidden word the monster clan never wanted to mention, mount. No matter what era it was, after the monster clan declined, they would become the mounts of the other clans. They would be enslaved and become the others' subordinates. The monster clan's one of the 10 clans. You've had your peak times. I know you used to be so strong. I know the experts of the monster clan like you too will never be willing to be enslaved. Shi Yang calmly talked to them while discreetly observing their expressions. He recognized that these two had taken his words seriously. I want to befriend the monster clan. Besides you two, I can help more members of the monster clan, Shi Yang smiled. In this perpetual night forest, there are many strong monsters, and many of them have intelligence as you do. With my help, they can become like you. They will be much stronger very quickly. What do you think about it? Yang Long and Xuelu couldn't conceal that they were moved. Take me to see the strongest one of your monster clan. As long as we can deal with him, it will be the good news to every member of the monster clan in Perpetual Night Forest, Shi Yang tempted them. At this moment, his situation was relatively safe. But in fact, dangers existed everywhere. Demon Clan, Dark Spirit Clan, Ghostmark Clan, and the Corpse Clan would come to the Perpetual Night Forest shortly. This forest would become the hot zone of war on this continent. The human clan was also cultivating hard, seeking for the methods to rally themselves. As Shi Yang was a human, and the 7 ancient factions wanted his life, they would come to the forest for him soon. With his current force, he had no significant advantage compared to the other clans or the 7 ancient factions. He could be the sacrifice at any minute. If he could establish a relationship with Monster Clan, it should be good news to him and his people. His people, besides the Yang family and the cow, included the Ghost Hunter, the Devouring Gold Silkworm, and the King of Demonic Insects. They were all members of the Monster Clan. Shi Yang knew this clan was imposing. Moreover, they didn't have many wild schemes. Once he got accepted, he would have tremendous support. You want to see our king of the Perpetual Night Forest? Xuelu was hesitant. Then he became a little bit annoyed. He doesn't want to meet us, though. Different from the other experts of the Monster Clan, he's too arrogant. He hasn't gathered any force under his regime. He has cultivated alone. We went to greet him, but he ignored us. Take me to him, Shi Yang was deliberate. I believe he will meet me. Yang Long and Xuelu exchanged looks. They considered his proposal for a long while. Later on, they nodded. He stays near the Ice and Fire secret domain, in the Black Pool. It's the prohibited area of our Monster Clan. When Human Clan got into the Ice and Fire secret domain, they didn't dare to trespass that place, said Yang Long. Let's go, Shi Yang smiled and urged. Yang Long and Xuelu were reluctant. But under his persistence, they couldn't help but take him to that place. 3 days later, Shi Yang and the 2 warriors of the Monster Clan reached a pond where black smog was lingering above its surface. A bizarre, black froth popped everywhere. This pond was large, more than 100 miles squared. No foliage could be seen around the pond. Shi Yang couldn't sense even a single life fluctuation of any insect. After Yang Long and Xuelu had taken him here, they looked at the black pool and said, "He's there, staying in the bottom of the pool. Usually, he won't appear. This is a prohibited area. No humans or beasts dare to put their foot here." Yang Long changed his expression before he could finish. He pointed towards the pool, his face as if he had seen a ghost. "Someone's there. Oh, someone doesn't care about life to trespass the black pool." As they had arrived at this place, Shi Yang felt the black pool was really strange. Nothing was floating above the pond. Even if someone could fly above the pool, he would be dragged into the pool by some unknown force. Any creatures entering the black pool, no matter it was a human or a beast, it would never reappear. It seemed something invisible and intimidating was staying in the bottom of the black pool, which could swallow both the body and the soul of any creature, making them stay forever under the pool. However, a mild young girl was staying in the middle of the pool. She was riding some creature, taking in the black smog above the black pool. She seemed to be cultivating some secret technique. Shi Yang was startled. He gathered his mind and observed carefully. Next, he cried in fear, his face odd. Yang Long and Xuelu didn't dare to speak. They stood dully by the black pool, as though they were waiting for something. In the center of the pool, the girl opened her mouth and took in the black smog above the pool. Flows of magical, pure energy got into her mouth, increasing her aura. Her flesh body was accumulating the tremendous energy from the pool. She was Zhuoshi. Shi Yang felt his brain convulse. He thought the scene he was watching was unbelievable. At this moment, he was puzzled, didn't know what to say. Why was she here? Shi Yang suddenly remembered that since he had come to the perpetual night forest, he had never seen Zhuoshi. But he had met Zhuoshu, Kai Xiao, and the other warriors of the Zhuo family in the Yang family's shelter. However, he didn't notice Zhuoshi. As he tried digging in further, he felt something wrong. The young girl was riding a creature which was sinking into the pool. Her face was serious, as though she was cultivating something. She didn't realize that someone was watching her. The peak of Sky Realm. Shi Yang observed for a while, and he got more surprised. He felt that his brain wasn't working well enough. He wore a forced smile. Zhuoshi had reached the peak of Sky Realm. She was just a step from the spirit realm. It had been years. He didn't know what kind of good chances this little girl had encountered. She seemed to have transformed, and had progressed fast. Apparently, she wasn't bad. What was going on? As he was looking at Zhuoshi, he found that the creature she was riding had suddenly started to move. Until he could recognize its movement, the distance between them was shortened rapidly. Shortly, Zhuoshi appeared in front of him. Zhuoshi hadn't realized anything yet. She was still closing her eyes and cultivating. She gently frowned, which made her look cute. However, Yang Long and Xuelu were frightened. They had transformed into their human shape. At this moment, they crouched down, slightly looking up to Zhuoshi with a respectful expression. They were looking at the creature Zhuoshi was riding, to be exact. Master Xian Ming, Yang Long and Xuelu cried, using the language of the monster clan to greet the other. Their voices even trembled. Shi Yang knew the king of the perpetual night forest's name was Xian Ming. He was an imposing expert of the monster clan, who had reached the peak of level 9. He could enter level 10 at any moment. During 10,000 years, this terrifying monster named Xian Ming would only show himself when the monster clan in the perpetual night forest had a big mess that they couldn't clean up themselves. He showed up to reconfirm the existence of the strong forces of the monster clan and maintain the order. Xian Ming of the perpetual night forest was the king of the monster clan in the eyes of the warriors in the divine Great Land. He was the Grand Master who ruled the beasts everywhere, the scariest existence. Even the strong human forces like Pure Land didn't dare to provoke the beasts in the perpetual night forest. It was because of Xian Ming, the almighty of the monster clan. "You two idiots, why are you here?" An old voice arose from under Zhuoshi. He was using the monster language too. Shi Yang had been together with the king of demonic insects and the devouring gold silkworm for many years, so it wasn't a problem for him to understand monster language. He could even hear and understand each word. Zhuoshi was still cultivating, but when the voice arose, she woke up. Her eyes were as bright as stars in the sky. She rolled her eyes, then covered her mouth in surprise. "Hey, why are you here?" Afterward, Zworsha got excited and stood up from the pool. Her slender legs moved, then jumped to the land, walking towards Shiyang. "Shouldn't you be in the endless sea?" asked the girl curiously. Shiyang's face was odd. He looked at the girl for a while and then forced a smile. "Well, I do want to know why you are here. Old Xian Ming brought me here. He said that he wants to help me increase my realm. This old man had captured me not long after I arrived in the perpetual night forest." Zworsha frowned, then put her hands on her waist, rolling her eyes at the thin, small old man who was slowly emerging from the pool. She pointed at him and mumbled, "That's him. Shiyang Gij, help me to teach him a lesson. I can't help it anymore. He doesn't let me go." The old man wore a pure black robe. His head looked like a snake head, paired with gloomy brown eyes. Turtle shells covered his face, which made him look more like a stupid, decayed stone. Shiyang forced a smile. First, he bent his body to greet the old man, then talked to Zworsha. "I can't teach him. He will teach me instead. Anyway, why are you here?" "Little Sha's cultivating the black tortoise true star. She has my clan bloodline in her body. What's wrong with staying here?" The old man's eyes rolled around. His face grew longer as he dropped his jaw. "Little Sha has brought me the inheritance of my clan from the ancient time. It's natural that I should take care of her. Kid, you are a human, but you dare to trespass my black pool. Aren't you afraid that I will swallow you? You are Xian Ming." Shiyang was astounded for a while. All of a sudden, he shouted, "You are from the Black Tortoise tribe?" Chapter 644, Corpse Clan's Soul Sacrificial Altar. Chapter 644, Corpse Clan's Soul Sacrificial Altar. In the antiquity, the Monster Clan had 4 strongest tribes. They were the royal tribes of the Monster Clan. They were called the Sacred Tribes, and included the Azure Dragon, the Black Tortoise, the Vermilion Bird, and the White Tiger. They had always ruled the Monster Clan with their invincible supernatural powers. Xian Ming was a black tortoise, the king of perpetual night forest. Shiyang didn't expect the old man to be from the Black Tortoise tribe, which had disappeared for so many years. He still remembered that year when he had just arrived at the Sky Meteor City. Zworsha had asked him to translate the turtle shell she got. She then received the Black Tortoise True Star scripture to cultivate. And she also had a precious, heavy armor. Was that why Xian Ming got close to Zworsha and protected her as if she were his closest relative? Only persons with our Black Tortoise bloodline could understand the power Upanishad of our tribe. Zworsha has our tribe bloodline. It isn't like what you think. Xian Ming whispered something, pursed his lips, and explained impatiently. Shiyang was frightened, screaming, "You can read my mind?" "What's difficult with that?" snorted Xian Ming. "You didn't use your soul power to conceal. With my realm, even if I don't use my energy, I can still read your mind. It's as easy as flipping my hand. Old Xian Ming, I don't want to cultivate with you. Let me go. It's not fun here." Zworsha didn't seem to be happy, crying. "I want the best for you." Xian Ming rolled his eyes. "You haven't reached the spirit realm yet. If you leave me, you'll die soon. I'm not going to allow you to go." The 2 experts of the Monster Clan, Yang Long and Xuelu, didn't talk much after they saw Xian Ming. They were afraid of him. "Kid, I don't care why you come here. I don't want to know either. Because you know Little Sha, I won't harm you. You should get lost quickly. If you disturb Little Sha's cultivation, I will make you regret." Xian Ming snorted impatiently, swinging his hand. "You 2 idiots should go too." A flow of silver energy rolled Yang Long and Xuelu, throwing them away. Shi Yang's soul consciousness couldn't catch it. Shi Yang hadn't had time to reply as Xian Ming continued, "You've spent a lot of efforts on Yang Long and Xuelu. However, you're a human. Human clan will be destroyed sooner or later. You shouldn't bring trouble to our Monster Clan." After he finished, Xian Ming swung his hands nonchalantly one more time. Shi Yang felt he was pressed by many streams of water before he was thrown away. He got dizzy. Until he could gather himself again, he found that he was in the shelter area of the Yang family. Standing indifferently by the lake, Shi Yang's face was complicated. It was the first time he felt helpless. Xian Ming at his peak of level 9 had supernatural powers. Shi Yang didn't know what kind of power he had used to deliver him hundreds of li away like that with only a wave of his hand. Suddenly, Shi Yang understood that his operation in the perpetual night forest hadn't escaped Xian Ming's view. This old man was secluding himself in the black pool, but he could see all things happening in the perpetual night forest. As Yu Ruo, Cao Qiu Dao, Ling Ming, Yi Tianmo and the others saw him, they started to gather from many places. Surprise filled their eyes. Shi Yang beamed a forced smile. He didn't want to talk much about Xian Ming, because he thought that if he told them about him, it would create a bad shadow in their hearts. Master, what happened? Your face is so grim. Yu Ruo stepped forward. A strange light sparked in her beautiful eyes as she was startled. Nothing, Shi Yang calmed his mind quickly. He smiled and then said, you guys should try harder. As long as you've reached the third sky of Spirit Realm, I will help you to enter the true God Realm sooner. Everybody was stunned. They thought that something was wrong with Shi Yang's mind. I found a good thing, Shi Yang smiled. Who is going to enter the third sky of Spirit Realm? While talking, he took out many pellets Li Zhengrong had given him. If you are confident, I will give you the suitable pellets. Cao Qiu Dao's team had their eyes brightened. I think I'm about to break through. Yi Tianmo was a little bit shy when he said with hesitation. I'm almost there too. After the change of heaven and earth, our speed of comprehending realms has increased too. Yu Ruo said with her bright eyes. Great-grandpa has reached the peak of Spirit Realm. Not long afterward, he can take another step further. Shi Yang said confidently. Di Shan has reached the true God Realm. I think he is adjusting his powers now. I will make your realms increase fast. Cao Qiu Dao, Cao Zhilan, and Fan Xiong-yun were bewildered. Little Yang, are you not exaggerating? Shi Jian kept quiet for a while and then asked with a trembling voice. Shi Yang nodded heavily. While he was talking, he saw Zhuoshu. He waved at the old man and then asked him, Grandpa Zhuo, do you know Zhuoshu's story? Zhuoshu changed his face. I want to get it clearly. At first glance, Shi Yang got that he knew something. The king of perpetual night forest had captured Zhuoshu. But he doesn't mean harm. Everything he's done is for Zhuoshu. I just want to know, when did it happen? Not long after we arrived in the perpetual night forest. Zhuoshu was hesitant, telling him the details of the situation. We disputed with the 7 ancient factions in the Ice and Fire secret domain. Little Shu was together with us at that time. But suddenly, she disappeared. Zhuoshu considered his words. At the beginning, we were really worried. When we were about to go out and find her, someone sent the message to our souls, telling us not to find her. Little Shu also sent us her thoughts, telling us that she was all right. She was going with an expert to cultivate. She asked us not to tell anybody. Shi Yang was silent. Oh, so that's it. Is Little Shu okay? Zhuoshu was worried. Don't worry, she's fine. She has reached the peak of Sky Realm. Not long afterward, she will enter the Spirit Realm. Her innate endowment is better than anyone else. You guys don't need to worry about her. Under his protection, no one can touch her, Shi Yang explained. Zhuoshu exhaled in relief. Everybody should prepare. We don't have much time. All clans are hostile to us, so we need to improve our competence fast. Shi Yang advised them. His figure flickered and disappeared as he went to find Yang Long and Xue Lu. Xian Ming didn't want to cooperate with him. At first, he could only convince the experts whose cultivation base wasn't much different from Yang Long and Xue Lu. In the perpetual night forest, there were several rulers of the monster clan like Yang Long and Xue Lu. If he could make a deal with them, even if he didn't have Xian Ming, he wouldn't need to worry much. Each strong expert like Yang Long and Xue Lu had accumulated plenty of treasures. They had abundant heaven and earth precious products. Not only did he need to refine better weapons for the Yang family, but he also needed to prepare something for himself. Thus, He needed the accumulated properties of those beasts. Ancient corpse tomb. Inside a spacious dark cave where black crystal jades twinkled, corpse chi permeated the area. Many members of the corpse clan were scattered inside the cave, surrounding a sacrificial altar built of tombstones. The altar was moving slowly, while a magical soul fluctuation rippled from each tombstone. Each soul fluctuation was as bright as a flame, swaying in the tombstone. Corpse C and Corpse Mount were moving inside that sacrificial altar. They were grimacing, as if they were enduring some serious pain. Every time they took a step, a soul fluctuation whipped them, then entering their souls. The Corpse Clan's sacrificial altar held the inheritance seal of the Corpse Clan. Each clansman of the Corpse Clan could use their ability to receive the inheritance in the altar. After that, they would receive the old technique of the Corpse Clan, and the knowledge, as well as the history of the Corpse Clan. Corpse Mount and Corpse C were struggling, while magical soul thoughts were entering deep inside their souls. Corpse Mount and Corpse C's soul had the shape of a headstone. While they were absorbing the soul thoughts, their souls were purified, getting rid of contaminants. They were taking in the inheritance inside the soul sacrificial altar. After that, they could know secret techniques that had been stored and imparted for so many years in the Corpse Clan. A large garnet coffin laid next to the cave entrance. It was sealed, but no corpses dared to approach it. They were looking at it with respectful expressions. Thump, thump, thump. Waves of living fluctuation beat rumblingly, rippling out from the coffin like a fighting drum, hitting each member of the Corpse Clan. Their souls resonated, as if they were working together with the sacrificial altar. After an unknown period, Corpse Mount and Corpse C had many wounds on their bodies, with sticky blood flowing along their bodies. However, it couldn't stop their movements, as they still took each step strenuously. Many members of the Corpse Clan showed their admiration and respect for Corpse Mount and Corpse C for their strong persistence and powerful potential. Clansmen who could resist longer in the altar could receive more benefits, and the inheritance they would get would be more excellent. After the Great Space Fission happened, they had discovered the soul sacrificial altar. Besides the one staying in that large coffin, Corpse Mount and Corpse C had the longest time staying in the altar. Bang! Formidable energy surged from the soul sacrificial altar, pushing Corpse Mount and Corpse C away and making them fall. The Corpse Clan's soul sacrificial altar quieted down, as no more soul fluctuations rippled. The countless headstones didn't move anymore. Corpse Mount and Corpse C struggled to get up, crouching on all fours. Their jaws were chattering, as if they were calling some power. The lid of coffin next to them suddenly lifted, exposing a large hand that was as sharp as a dagger. Under the attentive looks of so many clansmen, that hand created a strange hand seal, which then floated, dragging a flow of energy from the soul sacrificial altar. Then, it divided into two seals and imprinted on Corpse Mount's and Corpse C's forehead. This seal meant that Corpse Mount and Corpse C were accepted. Just like the seal on Shi Yang's forehead, it represented that Corpse Mount and Corpse C had become the new members of one of the oldest tribes. Chapter 645. Contact the Foreign Land. Chapter 645. Contact the Foreign Land. Ice and Fire Secret Domain. Inside a plain meeting hall built with flamestone, Lin Meng of the Pure Land, Yun Hao of the Radiant God Cult, Nai Ruo of the Devil Temple, Qin Jiyu Chuan of the Heaven Temple, Guan Hu of the Martial Spirit Palace, Luo Miao of the Spirit Treasure Sect, and Uwen Jian of the Fighting Union, the leaders of the 7 ancient factions, were gathering. These 7 people were the overlords of the entire divine Great Land. Each of them had ruled the richest parts of the continent for so many years. Today, in this meeting hall, the hotshots of everywhere were gathered. Their faces were grim, looking at the bronze cauldron in the center of the hall. The bronze cauldron was 5 meters high, with 3 supports as big as human legs. The cauldron was covered with magical patterns, including the clouds, beasts, alien tribes, ghosts, and demons. All of them looked animated, as if they were living creatures crawling around the cauldron. Green smoke wound from the cauldron, while a refreshing fragrance was dispersing in the place, that could revitalize people and calm their souls. It was the original universe-returning cauldron, a divine tool of the Pure Land. Lin Meng had treasured it in the Pure Land. She didn't let the others see this treasure, as if it were the root of her life. Lin Meng and the other 6 were sitting in silence, waiting for the green smoke to get thicker. Then, they released their god soul, turning into 7 beams of light flying towards the cauldron. Their souls then found a spot for each on the mouth of the cauldron. Then, they united the soul power into one flow, shining on the center of the cauldron. The patterns on the original universe returning cauldron glowed. Twisting soul fluctuation shot out from the cauldron, dragging the entire ice and fire secret domain into a fierce soul vortex. After an unknown period, Ling Meng's god soul reached the center of the cauldron. It hovered in the crystal clear space inside, constantly using the soul power to clear the space. Lin Meng's god soul seemed like it had escaped the Grace mainland, wandering into an immense galaxy. As if it could sense something magical, it flew in a particular direction. The star sea was mysterious and endless. Lin Meng's soul was like a little fish strolling around, not daring to act rashly or sense the prestige of the other stars. It only watched over a spiritual platform. Long after that, Lin Meng's soul power was consumed by a big part. She was bewildered, reaching a vast Milky Way. It was like a dream. Lin Meng tried to control her mind, constantly releasing the soul thought to seek the prestige of the human sages, trying to make contact with them. It seemed there was something really intimidating dormant in the center of the soul sea. These soul fluctuations had scared Lin Meng, as if they could burn her god soul into ashes any minute. All of a sudden, Lin Meng's soul shuddered, as she had caught a feeble soul fluctuation. She pulled herself together, trying to reach the source of the soul fluctuation. However, right at this moment, an icy cold thought shot toward her from a corner of the star sea. Lin Meng had neither seen the target nor established a connection with it. But, her god soul was disordered, turning into a beam of light and retreating from the soul sea immediately. The original universe returning cauldron was shaking violently in the hall. Images of alien tribes on the cauldron seemed to be activated. They started to show their claws and bare their fangs, as if they wanted to get rid of the cauldron. The god souls of the other 6 were trembling hard. They hastened to release their soul power, pouring into the cauldron. The original universe returning cauldron slowly quieted down. The beasts, ghosts, and demons rising on the surface of the cauldron were oppressed, as if an invisible giant palm was pressing them, preventing them from causing any harm. Lin Meng's god soul was shaking violently. She hurried to get back to the body from the original universe returning cauldron, and the other 6 followed her. The 7 strong true God realm warriors of human clan in the divine Great Land were pale and exhausted, as though they had just fought a fierce battle. Their soul power seemed to be completely drained. Blood trickled from the 7 apertures on Ling Meng's face. She looked distressed, just like someone had hurt her. It took her a long time to steady her breath. She was still frightened, her voice helpless. "I don't know what has happened. My grand teacher seemed feeble. I don't know what has happened to her." Yun Hao and Nai Ruo were scared, their faces glum. "We know your grand teacher is the last one who had reached the King God realm. She's the peerless warrior of the divine Great Land. Her power and cultivation base could be deemed invincible. Did she meet anything unexpected in the endless foreign starry sky?" Nai Ruo couldn't hold his fright. How dangerous is the endless foreign starry sky that she couldn't form a connection with you? Millions of years have passed. We have countless warriors who had reached the King God realm, which gives them the ability to escape the Grace mainland. They took turns and entered the endless foreign starry sky. Besides the extraordinary warriors of the human clan, there were the grand seniors of the demon clan and the dark clan. After they left, they sent no news back to us. Lin Meng was hesitant. "When my grand teacher left, she told me that when we encounter dangers we can't resist, I should use the original universe returning cauldron to contact her, and she would help me. However, I could sense she isn't well either. It seems, she's confined." Confined? The hotshots of the 7 ancient factions changed their visage. A strange light appeared in their eyes as they were startled. Lin Meng's teacher was the peerless hotshot who existed in the nearest era to the current epoch of the divine Great Land. When she disappeared from the divine Greatland, Yunhao's group were still teenagers who had just entered the path of cultivation. Anyway, they knew about her legend. She left when she had reached the second sky of King God realm. It was so many years, her realm should be more profound. However, she was unexpectedly imprisoned in the endless foreign starry sky. What was going on? In the antiquity time, the God clan had disappeared completely from the Grace mainland, the whole clan. It has been more than 1 million years. I wonder if they still exist. In that era, the rulers of the Demon clan and the Dark clan had also left one by one. None of them have been heard to come back. It has been so many years. No one knows if they are dead or alive. Lin Meng sighed. The existence at such a level isn't something we can predict. If we can't establish the connection with my grand teacher, we have to think about some other way around. Some of the oldest books of our martial spirit palace describe an era that was earlier than the antiquity time. The immemorial epoch. I heard that the clans didn't exist during that time, and there were the immemorial living beings, which were much stronger than us. They seemed to have an endless life. I heard that those immemorial living beings could create a whole new world, where their bodies were the world. We can say that they were the origin of legends and myths. The immemorial living beings were there before the 10 clans. They disappeared one after another from the Grace mainland. The only thing I know is that after they had reached the peak of their powers, the Grace mainland couldn't nurture them anymore. Guan Ho of the Martial Spirit Palace considered his word choice, talking with a frightened face. Everybody was panic-stricken by his words. Their hearts sank. Our strength is nothing to the warriors in the antiquity time, let alone the living beings in the immemorial epoch. Lin Meng forced a smile. Seems like we can't rely on the external forces. We can only depend on ourselves. There are so many small spaces outside the Grace mainland. Most of them belong to the other clans who couldn't get here in the past. After the Great Space Fission happened, they could arrive here through the space slits. At this moment, we have to recognize the existence of the invincible warriors from the Demon clan, the Dark clan, and the Dark Spirit clan. Later on, it will be more unendurable, Guan Ho sighed. After so many years, the alien hotshots from the antiquity time are dead, or have left to the endless foreign starry sky. The ones that have just come are their grandchildren. Otherwise, we would have been killed already, Yunhao snorted. Not really that dangerous. At least. We haven't seen any at the King God realm. But they all have the inheritance. The inheritance of our human clan isn't complete anymore, after so many years. Lin Meng shook her head. The survivors of the alien tribes are all intimidating. They have survived many dreadful challenges. We have only this number of limited hotshots. It's really tough to resist the other clans. Lin Meng paused, then her countenance turned cold as she snorted. Moreover, we have some B** stars in our team. At this point, Qin Jiu Chuan, Guan Ho, and Luo Miao had their faces darkened. Yunhao kept silent. He felt agitated, but he didn't know what to say. Dares to join the alien tribes. Should kill them all. We should prevent them from being a big trouble in the future. Qin Jiu Chuan sneered. That boy named Shi Yang isn't bad. If we let him do what he wants like that, he will cause a lot of troubles. I think we should take action earlier. Before the other clans come here, we should clean this wild grass. Shi Yang belongs to the human clan. Yunhao knitted his brows, his voice uncertain. After he heard Yang Long talk about the alien bloodline of Shi Yang, he wasn't sure whether his decision was right or not. They are a force anyway. If they are alive, our human clan will have support in the future. I propose to kill them all. Qin Jiu Chuan suddenly stood up. We should vote. Who approves this? Lin Meng, Nai Ruo, Luo Miao, and Guan Ho voted to kill Shi Yang's group. Among the 7 of them, besides Yunhao, only Yuwen Jiang of the Fighting Union, the city master of the Celestial Emperor City, the hegemon of the Fighting Union, didn't vote. Uge, how about you? Luo Miao looked at him. That kid has a good relationship with my Fighting Union. I think is not bad, said Yuwen Jiang faintly. Among the 7, 5 agree. According to our rule, this is settled. Qin Jiu Chuan looked at Lin Meng of the Pure Land. Lin Meng nodded. All right, before we have the war with the alien tribes, we will kill the insects first. Qin Jiu Chuan was sinister. Our 5 forces will carry out this operation. The Radiant God Cult and the Fighting Union don't need to join us. But, I hope you guys won't interfere. Yun Hao and Yu Wang frowned. They didn't answer, as they knew it was difficult to solve the matter. Chapter 646, No Return. Chapter 646, No Return. 100 meters tall ancient tree with dense branches and leaves shook suddenly in the perpetual night forest. Green leaves rattled and then fell. A light spot appeared on the tree trunk, near the thick roots. It slowly divided into many beams, crawling on the branches like snakes, and creating a mysterious light door. 2 silhouettes flashed in the door. From the icy and burning hot area, they appeared in front of the giant tree. The strange phenomenon of the tree vanished when the 2 people appeared. Turning her head to look at the entrance of the secret domain behind, Bing Ching Tong frowned. Her countenance was cold but elegant as she said faintly, "We should be hurried. Don't know what has happened to that brat. Why does he have to be with the alien tribes? Sigh, he always gives us a headache." Han Kui was still as beautiful as a flower. Her watery black eyes twinkled, accompanying her succulent red lips. All her features made her so charming that her charisma could capture people's souls. As she thought she was about to meet someone, her soft body got hot, and her heart bounced in her chest. Don't mess things up. That B*****'star's in danger now. If we're late, I'm not sure we can help him, Bing Ching Tong snorted, then knitted her brows. She seemed to hurry. A group of warriors strolled towards them from the far forest. This group went out to hunt beasts. Their realms weren't the same, and some of them looked really handsome. However, they were walking and joking and laughing, as though they didn't know about the calamity human clan was about to face. When they reached the entrance, they saw Bing Ching Tong and Han Kui. Their eyes brightened while they couldn't help but pant. Outstanding young warriors of the 7 ancient factions raked their eyes through Bing Ching Tong's and Han Kui's bodies. They gulped as their temptation rose like animals. A leader of that group, who thought that he was excellent enough with his sky realm, beamed a smile and then bowed to greet the other 2. "Master Bing, where are you going?" Bing Ching Tong's face was as cold as ice. "Somewhere. Haha, if you want to hunt beasts, I can take you. I'm familiar with this area. I'm willing to help you." The young man laughed and tried to show his servile manner. "No need." Bing Ching Tong wore a cold face, moving swiftly, crossing this group. She disappeared instantly. Han Kui smiled beautifully, like hundreds of flowers blooming. She didn't pay attention to these people and just left. "Lai Quan, you've wasted your heart. These 2 women are at the 3rd sky of Spirit Realm. Why would they have to favor you?" A dark-skinned, short young man laughed evilly. "Well, these famous flowers have an owner already." B***keys, Lai Quan was surprised. But then, he thundered with a dark face. "They dare to join the barbarian man. Harumph, they don't favor living. Such SL***ts, the man called Shi Yang will be doomed soon. Perhaps, they would be involved too." Shun Lin, the one who had left the Yang, was in this group. He frowned and then asked, "These 2 women have a relationship with Shi Yang?" Shun Lin had spent a lot of time in the perpetual night forest. That's why Lai Quan asked him to show the way. Lai Quan smiled on hearing him. "Mr. Shun, I heard that the Yang family has many beautiful young ladies. Is that true?" Shun Mu slightly bent his body, his face respectful. "Yeah, it's true. Li Feng and Yang Shui are really prominent. Why does young Master Lai ask me that?" Lai Quan and the others had their eyes brightened, chuckling evilly. "I think we should ask to attack the enemy first. They have to die, eventually. Well, if we can have fun with them, when they die, their lives won't be wasted." The short, fat guy pursed his lips perversely. A bunch of trash. However, a voice came from that tree. Lai Feng of the Devil Valley appeared, glaring coldly at them. "Is that your future career?" When they realized Lai Feng was coming, They paled immediately, bending to greet him loudly. "Brother! Get lost! Don't embarrass our Devil Valley. Killing you is as easy as smashing an ant. Shi Yang can always do that before he dies." Lai Feng was cold, and didn't want to look at them. He walked away. After Lai Feng had left for a while, Lai Quan continued with an irritated expression. F***ck. He didn't defeat the opponent whose realm is lower than his. Well, don't know who has lost our Devil Valley's face. Lai Quan, are you interested in the operation to deal with the Yang? The fat guy instigated again. Of course, yes. Lai Quan laughed. The seniors have announced already. They want to kill all the members of the Yang family and the Shi family. I heard that they are filthy rich. If we can earn some good stuff, it will be superb for us. These people then laughed obscenely. Shun Lin, the Yang family's traitor, kept silent. He felt a sadness swell in his heart. However, when he thought about that, Shun Lin darkened his face. He thought that Yang Tian Emperor and his people deserved that. They had given up the big tree, the 7 ancient factions, to group with the alien tribes. They deserved death. After Lai Feng left that area, he took out a bronze coin, flipping it between his fingers. While moving, the coin sometimes sparkled a dark light. Just like black mist, it flew forward. Lai Feng followed the faint light from the bronze coin. His pace was fast, then slow. He didn't look hurried. After a long time, Lai Feng suddenly felt tense. He halted, releasing the soul consciousness to sense, then beamed a forced smile. "You guys busted me." Bing Ching Tong and Han Kui silently walked out from the shade of a big tree, looking at him with an unfriendly countenance. Han Kui arched her brows. She rarely felt angry, but she screamed. "Why are you following us?" "I'm ordered." Lai Feng didn't seem tense. He smiled and answered deliberately. "Whose orders?" Bing Ching Tong looked cold. "Lai Feng, although your competence isn't bad, if we sisters join hands, it's not hard to kill you." Lai Feng had reached the second sky of Spirit Realm. He was the strongest leader of the new generation of the Devil Valley. His cultivation of the Devil Valley's supernatural Upanishad was excellent. If they battled one-on-one, Bing Ching Tong with her third sky of Spirit Realm cultivation base couldn't defeat him. "From the supreme leaders, not just my teacher." Lai Feng smiled. "If you want to defeat me, well, of course, you can do that. But if you want to kill me, haha, it's not easy. What is your purpose for following us?" As Han Kui felt time was running out, she got annoyed. Anger rose in her beautiful eyes. "You know already." Lai Feng took several steps backward. He squinted, his face eccentric. "Personally, I don't have any bad intentions towards you two. I'm here to tell you that if you decide to go, you should be prepared, and you should know that you can't come back. In other words, if you return, even the hegemon of your fighting union can't protect you." "Why do you want to tell us this?" Bing Ching Tong furrowed her brows, talking in a low tone. "As far as I've known, Shi Yang had irritated you in the precious Tool Valley, right?" "Irritated? I don't think so." Lai Feng pursed his lips, talking arrogantly. "I don't like the weak. Only the strong can get into my eyes. And Shi Yang, he's one of the rare kinds I like. Although I like slaughtering and being mean, I always respect and admire strong experts. And, I don't want to see that kid be killed unknowingly. I want to defeat him officially for once." Bing Ching Tong and Han Kui kept silent, their faces complicated. Many members of the 7 ancient factions had a good relationship with Shi Yang. For instance, Zhu Yi of the Wonderful Stone City, the elders of the Radiant God Cult, the Banner family, and the Aroke family. However, after they knew the relation between Shi Yang and the alien tribes, most of them didn't dare to show their agreement. They decided to ignore it. Some even got enraged, and they wanted to attack the Yang family. People who wanted to help him were pitifully rare. Lai Feng was a new face of the Devil Valley. His brutal name was famous in the divine Great Land. He liked slaughtering, and here was almost no nice word to describe him. However, a character like that had told Bing Ching Tong and Han Kui the dark thoughts of the higher levels in the 7 ancient factions. At this moment, Bing Ching Tong and Han Kui were moved. How about my other two sisters? Are they all right? Bing Ching Tong pondered for a while and then asked nervously. Lung Dan Qing and Shuang Yu Zhu were still in the ice and fire secret domain. Bing Ching Tong was afraid that the other two would be involved and the 7 ancient factions would trouble them. She couldn't press down her worries. They should be okay. The high levels mean that. The traitors are the ones who send intelligence to Shi Yang discreetly. They don't want us to treat you well. Yeah, only you two. Lai Feng contemplated for a while and then continued. If you return now, I will consider nothing has happened. The high levels won't attack you. But if you are persistent, I will say the same. You shouldn't return. Thank you, Bing Ching Tong nodded to him. We won't come back. If you have the chance, please help us notify my other two sisters. Please let them know. Lai Feng was dumbstruck. He beamed a faint smile. I envy that kid. Haha, I didn't think that you were willing to leave the 7 ancient factions for him. All right, I will send your message to your sisters. Just leave and don't worry about them. If we meet again, I won't be polite. You should solve your matters yourself. Then, Lai Feng turned around generously. He sauntered towards the ice and fire secret domain, not wanting to follow them anymore. Bing Ching Tong and Han Kui stood there in silence for a while. Han Kui spoke first. That man does have good intentions. I didn't expect that he would remind us. If he hadn't talked to us, I think we would have returned to the ice and fire secret domain. At that time, we would be miserable. Yeah, it's hard to see through people's hearts. At the most struggling time, there are those who look like your enemy but will help you discreetly. Bing Ching Tong suddenly remembered something, her face disdain. And then there are some who are so shameful. Han Kui's visage became grimaced as she snorted. Chapter 647, Impasse? Chapter 647, Impasse? These days, Shi Yang was really busy. The perpetual night forest was vast. As he was doing business with the other 3 hotshots of the monster clan, he had to run back and forth in the forest, consuming a lot of his efforts to make them accept him. 9-headed bird, silver-winged sky wolf, and glacial armor giant alligator were the rank 2 level 9 beasts, the high-grade leaders of the monster clan, at the same level as Shui Lai. The 3 of them occupied vast areas in the perpetual night forest. They were all brutal and sinister. They had many level 7 and 8 subordinates, who were staying in different areas. However, they didn't have a good relationship with Yang Long and Shui Lai. Quite the contrary, they fought all the time. To get the approval from these 3, Shi Yang had to put much effort, using Yang Long and Shui Lai as the precedent to persuade them, making them give him the treasures they had stashed for thousands of years. After 1 month of refining through days and nights, Shi Yang was exhausted. With Yi Chang Feng's assistance, he had the purgatory true flame, which helped him please the 3 hotshots of the monster clan. 9-headed bird, silver-winged sky wolf, and glacial armor giant alligator were the overlords of a vast area. They all had intellect, which became more profound after the Great Fission. Negotiating with them gave Shi Yang a big headache as they weren't so easy to be deceived. If they hadn't seen the great changes on Yang Long and Shui Lai after their bodies had been refined, these 3 monsters would never pay attention to Shi Yang. The precious treasures they had collected over thousands of years widened Shi Yang's vision. Now he knew that the most precious earth and heaven products weren't in the hands of the 7 ancient factions, but in the cave mansions of the beasts. After 1 month of refining, no matter day or night, Shi Yang was so exhausted that his soul had weakened. However, his 3rd sky of spirit realm cultivation base was steadied. He found that while he was quenching the monsters' bodies or forging the simple weapons with tremendous power, his mind and spirit were quiet and clear. During the refining process, his soul was sublimated. This wonderful realm of having nothing else in his head was really useful to steady his sea of consciousness. After 1 month, his understanding of the Star Upanishad became deeper. While he was annealing the glacial armor giant alligator, he had accidentally stirred up space, causing many space slits again. This experience gave him a deeper knowledge of space power. Although he was tired out during the whole month, He knew this period was constructive for his martial cultivating path. It made his recognition of earth and heaven power clearer. Di Shan and Li Zhengrong had used the Creator's divine pond to enter the true God realm and create the God soul. Finally, he had true God realm warriors on his side. They didn't fail him. Yang Tian Emperor wasn't hurried. He said that he didn't want to use the Creator's divine pond that quickly. He was still cultivating on the lake bottom, using the willpower that was almost harmful to him to comprehend the power Upanishad he had understood. Today, he managed to have some free time to go to the Yang family's gathering point. He was surprised to see Yi Tianmo and Yu Ruo were in their comprehension stage. They sat still for 7 days, while magical halos were moving around them. With his knowledge, Shi Yang understood that when Yi Tianmo and Yu Ru woke up, they would be at the peak of spirit realm. At that time, they could enter the Creator's divine pond. When he was still observing them, Yang Tian Emperor asked Yi Changfeng to open the lake passage. He returned with a grim face. The 7 ancient factions want to attack us now. Right after he arrived, Yang Tian Emperor threw a powerful grenade, which sank everybody's hearts. Although they knew the 7 ancient factions didn't have good intentions, they always thought that as they were all humans, the 7 ancient factions wouldn't force them into the dead corner. Having heard Yang Tian Emperor, people found their hearts all chilled. The 7 ancient factions were the strongest human forces in the divine Great Land. Before the rise of the alien tribes, they had dominated the richest land, and everybody knew their reputation. When they were determined, it would be very terrifying. Great-grandpa, how did you know that? Shi Yang's face darkened. You were always staying in the lake bottom. How did you receive the news? It's from Tang Yuan Nan. Before we detached, I exchanged the soundstone seal with him. Yang Tian Emperor's visage was grim. However, it's not Tang Yuan Nan's voice. Perhaps, he had sent someone out of the secret domain and sent me the message. That person said that the 7 ancient factions are about to carry out a slaughter against us. We are told to leave the perpetual night forest as fast as possible. Tang Yuan Nan. He still remembers our relationship. It's worth my good treats to him. Shi Yang nodded. He contemplated for a while and then asked, how about Xia Qinghu? You didn't contact only Tang Yuan Nan, did you? Has he ever sent any message to you? Yang Tian Emperor kept silent. Shi Yang's face darkened. He snorted and then said faintly, seems like not everyone remembers the old favors. Without the teleportation formation little Yang had built, the Xia family would have perished in the endless sea. This old man, when they had arrived in the divine Great Land, he immediately joined the Pure Land as though he didn't remember who we are. Yangzhua smiled faintly. Don't say useless things. Everybody has their own path. We can't force anyone. Yang Tian Emperor scolded then frowned. Everyone has his own choice. The day we chose to leave, we should have known that we would be on the opposite side one day. Tang Yuan Nan has remembered our friendship. We have to appreciate him. Xia Qinghu didn't notify us, but we don't need to criticize. We just don't consider him a friend anymore. Yang Ji, do you really think that way? Cao Qiu Dao, the one who always kept silent from the beginning, suddenly arched his eyebrows. The hero of the endless sea, when have you become so sympathetic? In my eyes, the ones that aren't my friends, of course, are my enemies. Yang Tian Emperor was nonchalant, not answering. No one knew what he was thinking. Yang Tian Emperor was always arrogant in the endless sea. He didn't have many close friends, and Xia Qinghu was one of his close friends. Before Xia Qinghu had fallen into insanity, Yang Tian Emperor had a good relationship with him. The Xia family always followed the Yang family. They had stayed in the Kiara Sea. No matter what situation it was, they were still with the Yang family. Yang Tian Emperor had treated him well. Xia Qinghu appreciated his favor, and he had done his best to maintain a good relationship with the Yangs. When Yang Tian Emperor found the danger, he had notified Xia Qinghu first, asking him to bring the Xia family to the Immortal Island so that they could leave the Endless Sea together. Quite the contrary, Tang Yuan Nan was Yang Tian Emperor's opponent right from the beginning. The Three Gods sect and the Yang family had had conflicts for hundreds of years. Yongtian Emperor and Tang Yuan Nan had fought before. They didn't like each other. When Shi Yang appeared, their hostile relationship was calmed, as they gradually became allies. However, his relationship with Tang Yuan Nan was much worse than the relationship he had with Xie Qinghu. When they decided to leave the Endless Sea, he had hesitated a lot before sending news to Tang Yuan Nan. However, when he treated Xie Qinghu, he had no hesitation. He immediately notified Xie Qinghu when he knew the change of the demon area, which he couldn't resist. However, when they needed intelligence the most, Tang Yuan Nan had sent it to them, while Xie Qinghu didn't even move his fingers. Yongtian Emperor found it hard to accept this fact. From now on, he will no longer be my friend. If he shows his hostility, I won't be merciful. Yongtian Emperor kept silent for a while before continuing with a calm voice. Cao Qiu Dao laughed. This is the Yongtian Emperor I know. What should we do? Fan Xiongyun was anxious, her face glum. Shi Yang, do you have any countermeasures? Time is rushing, Shi Yang gritted his teeth. I thought we still have more time. After you guys all have the breakthrough, we will face them directly. I didn't think that they would take action that fast. He felt a headache coming. He knew how strong the 7 ancient factions were. They had more than 10 true God Realm warriors. Even if Yun Hao and the Radiant God cult didn't join this operation, the other 6 factions were enough to sweep them. How about the Monster Clan? Would they help us? Asked Yang Zhuo. They can help us a little bit. But we can't expect that they would risk their lives for us. Our opponent is so intimidating. I think the Monster Clan will consider the pros and cons. They won't be rash. Shi Yang shook his head then said, Unless what? Everybody was shaken. Shi Yang beamed a forced smile. Unless that dreadful old man Xian Ming helps us, the other hotshots of the Monster Clan would never risk their lives against the human clan. Sigh. It's tough. That old man's a conservative one. He's a big racist nut. Last time I went there, he had struck me away before I had time to explain. When he said that, people felt their hearts sink again. Dark clouds hovered in their heads. How about leaving this place, said Fan Xiongyun. We should leave the perpetual night forest for the time being. It should be, no problem. We can leave. But should we not return? Yongtian Emperor shook his head. Once we leave the perpetual night forest, it's the empty land outside. It's easy for the alien tribes to detect us. Not only the alien tribes, the 7 ancient factions could chase after us there. It's also a wild area with nothing else. We won't have even an obstacle to hide behind. We haven't prepared for that. It would make us more passive. Yes, we can't retreat. Once we retreat, it will be more strenuous. Cao Qiu Dao, the headmaster of the Cao family, always had a clear mind. Everybody was silent, their faces grim. They were thinking how to deal with this big oncoming calamity. When they had to face the 7 ancient factions directly, they recognized that they were so weak and tiny compared to this formidable force. They had no means or ways to stop their crushing attack. Little Yang, don't bear too big a pressure. As we are at this point, it's our choice. Without you, we still would have done the same. Yongtian Emperor looked at him with affection. In this vast world, we would have a way out. We will find a solution. Shi Yang took a deep breath. Great-grandpa, give me time. I need to think about it carefully to see if we can find a way out. Everybody nodded and scattered, discussing with each other in a low tone to find a solution. Yongtian Emperor sighed, but didn't say anything, as a furious light was dancing in his eyes. No one knew which brutal thought he had at this moment. Shi Yang didn't say anything. He sat down by the lake, closed his eyes, and pondered, his face grim. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.